Hello and welcome to Solent Sports Soccer Night. We've got 13 games with live reporters sent to from all around the country, 4 divisions. It's going to be an absolute night of top quality banter and top quality football scores. We've got Freddie Kilby at Leyton Orient. We've got Nathan Potter and Freddie Dorman are at Swindon. Ben James is at Aldershot. Harrison Richards is at Southend. Piran made his way down to Bath. Jamie Somerville at Chesterfield. Diogo's gone to Warsaw. Billy Hunter is at Wimbledon. And Cameron Moody is watching Portsmouth. And we've got 4 excellent commentators in the studio as well. We've got Rochelle watching Arsenal versus Porto. We've got Finn watching Barcelona versus Napoli. We've got Callum watching Birmingham versus Middlesbrough. And we've got Abby watching Bolton versus Oxford. Now, after that rather loud and ample music, we'll get into a bit of the chat. So, Rochelle, you're watching Arsenal versus Porto. What are your thoughts ahead of the second leg game, which could see Arsenal through to the quarterfinals?
Yeah, they could definitely go through. If we're talking about the lineups, Porto is completely unchanged since their win against Arsenal in the first leg, with their top European goal scorer, Gleno, featuring. For Arsenal, there's only one change, with Martinelli out and Jorginho taking his place. With this game, could we see a classic Odegaard cutback goal, or could we see a Saka masterclass on the wing?
Either way, it's going to be an entertaining Champions League game. Also in the Champions League, we've got Finn. Finn, preview part of your game.
So the big news coming out of the Barcelona match is that Lamine Yamal, the 16-year-old, starts at left wing again for Barcelona. So he's the youngest player to ever feature in the competition. But also at centre-back, Pau Cabresi is also starting. He's never played in the Champions League before and replaces Inigo Martinez at centre-back.
Some big team news, some young team news and some inexperienced players down there in the Champions League for what seems to be the biggest games of their lives so far. We'll go over to Abby. You're watching Bolton versus Oxford. What are your thoughts ahead of that one?
It's going to be an interesting game against them. Bolton's currently 3rd in the league, which Oxford is in 7th. Bolton is looking to score the maximum of 3 points to move themselves up in the league, to then be in the automatic places for promotion. As for lineups, Oxford exactly the same as their last game, but Bolton have changed. So they now have Ogbetter is now in, and so is Bodvarsson. But they are without their top scorer, as he is currently out with a wrist injury, and he is currently seeing a specialist, but not sure on his return.
Also in the EFL, we've got Cal. You're watching Birmingham versus Middlesbrough. What are your thoughts ahead of this one?
Now we're coming down to the business end of the season. Birmingham are just 1 point above the relegation zone at the moment on 38 points, just above Huddersfield and Sheffield Wednesday. They're against Middlesbrough tonight, who are sitting pretty comfortably mid-table, but playoffs aren't quite out of reach as they sit 8 points off. Team news: Borough are unchanged from their last outing, a 2-0 victory away at QPR, whereas Birmingham have Jordan James come in, and also Ethan Laird are new players coming into the starting lineup from their last fixture.
Lovely stuff. And sticking in the EFL, we've got Freddie Kilby, Leyton Orient versus Port Vale. Freddie, what are your thoughts ahead of that one?
Yes, thank you, Jamie. It's going to be a very interesting match here between these League 1 teams. Leyton Orient come into this game in 10th place, solidly mid-table, although they have lost 2 games in the bounce in their previous 2 games. So, yeah, it's going to be quite a tough one. Obviously, they've only scored 4 goals in their last 5 games, so they've got a bit of problem in attack. But then their opponents, Port Vale, who are second from bottom in the league, they're really struggling at the moment. They've conceded 2 goals in each of their last 5 games. So it's quite a mild attack versus a leaky defence. So we'll see how that one pans out. But it's a nice warm evening here in East London at Brisbane Road, and hopefully a good match of football yet to come.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, Freddie. Sticking in the AFL, let's cross over to Diogo's watching Warsaw versus Barrow. Diogo, what are your thoughts?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Diogo.
Yes, so I am here at the stadium where we are going to play Walsall versus Barrow. This is going to be a close game because Walsall are currently 9th and Barrow are 6th. So it's a little battle to see who's going to make it to the playoffs. We've got some key players like Isaac Hutchinson, who is leading top scorers for the Walsall team. Unfortunately, Barrow's top scorer is on the bench, surprisingly. So maybe he's going to be brought on the second half, but I'm looking forward to it.
Lovely. Thank you for that, Diogo. Jamie Somerville is watching Chesterfield. Jamie, what are your thoughts ahead of their game this evening?
I'm excited to see it, to be honest. It's a real David versus Goliath test here for Oxford City. The Spireites sat at top of the table, basically en route to break any and every record that they see. Oxford City only promoted last year through the National League South playoffs, so weren't really expected to perform, but they've got a real task on their hand coming to the SMH Group Stadium.
And Billy Hunter is watching Wimbledon versus Gillingham at the Cherry Record Stadium. Billy, what are your thoughts?
Hello, Jamie. Yeah, I'm here at the Cherry Record Stadium. I think it's going to be a tough game today. It's 7th FC Wimbledon against 6th Gillingham. I think if a win for Wimbledon will put them in a playoff spot, so it's a massive game. They have 2 changes to their team from their last win. Ronan Curtis comes in with John Kiomani Gordon also coming in. So hopefully a big game for the Dons, and we'll see what happens next.
Thank you, Billy. Good preview there. And Harrison Richards is in Southend watching their match against Dorking at Roots Hall. Harrison, what are you thinking ahead of the big match for Southend?
Hello, Jamie. Yeah, it's 10th v 21st with Dorking in 21st. It's going to be a tight game and an important one for Dorking, especially in their fight for survival. In terms of team news, a lot of changes for Dorking today. 5 changes. The standout ones, Rutherford does start. He's only coming back from open heart surgery and an ACL injury. But he starts today, and Bauman, who's been out since January, also starts in a positive for Dorking. In terms of Southend, it's 2 changes, with Dimitru and Oliver Cocker coming out for Woodman and Morton. So it's a big game for both teams, and we'll have to see how this one pans out.
Thank you very much, Harrison. And dropping down a division into the National League South, we've got Piran Phillips, who's watching Bath City versus Hemel Hempstead. Piran, what are your thoughts ahead of that game in the West Country?
Good evening, Jamie. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. The pitch is actually looking surprisingly really well. It's quite dry here. It's perfect night for football and the floodlights are on. But all eyes are actually going to be on Hemel, who are in 17th. They've got a new manager who came in last week, Alan Dowson, and he's joined by his assistant manager, commentary legend Martin Tyler. I spoke to him pre-game and they said they've just got to do anything to win. They've only got 1 point in their last 8 games, and the bottom 4 who are in relegation are chasing them down. So Hemel have a lot to do to stay up, and they've got a big task against Bath, who are in 8th place. Bath have only won 5. Well, their last win was 5 games ago. After winning 5 on the bounce. So they're not in good form either. So hopefully one of these teams will be able to take all 3 points tonight and we won't be stuck in for a draw, which was the last game. It was 0-0 against these 2 sides in the reverse fixture. So it's going to be a good night down here in Bath, which we're hoping for.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, Piran. And we're going from the bottom of our games this evening in the National League South, and we're going to go across to the 2 Champions League correspondents we have. Rochelle watching Arsenal versus Porto. What are your thoughts and what do you think is going to happen, Rochelle?
I mean, with Arsenal in the Champions League, especially in the round of 16, they are so unpredictable. They haven't made the next round since 2010. From how they're playing in the Premier League at the moment, it is very likely to say that they will progress against Porto, but they are already 1-0 down on aggregate. But they've got a strong lineup. We just got to hope that, they play their cards right and hopefully they'll progress. But if not, then all focus will be on the Prem for them.
And Finn, in the Champions League, also Barcelona versus Napoli. You gave us a great preview before, but where do you think this game's going to go? Where's it going to take us?
The good money would probably be on Barcelona to go through and win, because they've won, after avoiding defeat in the first leg of any Champions League tie, they've gone on to win 20 of the last 21 times. The only time they've lost is their famous night in Liverpool, and they're unbeaten against Napoli in their last 5 games. But coming to the game, they've got a very young team, lots of inexperience, some of them starting their first Champions League game, and even having Andreas Christensen in midfield. He normally starts at centre-back. But also Napoli's attack is still very strong. They've got Osimhen, Politano and Kvaratskhelia, who have all been on fire for the last couple of seasons and won them the league last year. So it could be very even, but Barcelona should have enough to power through.
An even game between two big sides. Go back to Rochelle. What players do you think can make a difference for either side?
I mean, for Arsenal, it would be Declan Rice, but the problem with Rice at the moment, if he gets booked in this game and they progress, he's not going to be able to feature. He will be on 5 yellow cards. But again, maybe Saka could shine for Arsenal. And then for Porto, it's kind of hard to say. They're a bit of sometimes half the team will kind of lack, sometimes half the team will go forward. I do think Galeno will probably start for them. I mean, he is their top European goal scorer, and probably their goalkeeper Costa. I mean, to keep out some of the saves that he did against Arsenal, he's probably looking to put up the same performance that he did 2 weeks ago. So.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. And in fact, we're going to cross over to Ben James, who's watching Aldershot versus Ebbsfleet in the National League. Ben, hopefully you can hear us, but what are your thoughts ahead of that game?
Good evening, guys. Thank you. You're joining me tonight at the EBB Stadium where, yes, Aldershot take on Ebbsfleet. Aldershot look to continue their playoff charge as they welcome informed Ebbsfleet this evening. Aldershot picked up an important 3 points against Oldham on Saturday that saw them take 5th place. A quick turnaround here sees Aldershot go headfirst into the business end of the season. These two sides faced each other in game week 3 at Stonebridge Road, in which a newly promoted side earned the bragging rights. Franklin Domi opened the scoring in the first half, and one of the National League's danger men, Dominic Polian, added a second just after the hour. The Fleet were also winners on their last National League trip to the EBB Stadium back in 2018. Goals from Michael Cheek and Danny Kedwell in the second half were enough to give Ebbsfleet all the points on their way out of Hampshire.
Thank you very much, Ben. And sticking with lower league football, we've got both Nathan Potter and Freddie Dorman at the county ground in Swindon. What are your thoughts of the games, lads?
Well, we're here, as you said, at the county ground in Swindon. We think it'll be a tight affair with Swindon. Last 5 has been a bit poor from them. However, they have won 9 of their wins have come from home this season. Freddie, what do you feel about Atkinson standing today?
Well, they've had 4 losses on the bounce, and their last away win was actually in January against struggling Forest Green. However, the last time they played Swindon was a 4-3. Well, it was a 4-3 loss. However, obviously it was a tight game. They did score all 3 of their goals in added time on the second half. So hopefully this one will also bring those. We're both not in the best run of form. We're not sure, but we're really hoping for a good one here tonight.
And we can see on the social media as well that you two did survive the Magic Roundabout, so good job. And sticking in the EFL, we'll go across to Callum Gill, who's watching the game in the Championship. Callum, what are your thoughts ahead of that one, and who do you think could be the danger men for both sides?
I think Birmingham, they've struggled of late, 1 win only in their last 5, and obviously goals are something that are hard to come by for them at the moment. Saying that, Stansfield is starting up front for them. He's got 10 goals this season and 3 assists, and I think they'll also be looking at their wide players, James, who comes in for Bakuna this game, to also provide a bit of a goal threat. Middlesbrough, again, their top goal scorers are all on the pitch, so hopefully we can have an entertaining game, because statistically these two aren't involved in many high-scoring games, but we'll see what happens.
For your sake as well as ours, I hope there is some goals in that one. And Abby, Bolton versus Oxford, not necessarily a classic on a Tuesday night, unlike the Champions League commentators on your right-hand side, but what are your thoughts ahead of that one?
I mean, it's Bolton's game to win, really. I mean, they need to win to move up to get a promotion. They drew their last 2 games, so they're on home turf tonight, so they're looking to win again. I mean, their last 7 home games they had won, and when they played against Exeter on Saturday, they only came back with 1 point because they drew 1-1. Gray Lee, who is Oxford's striker, said they might actually have to change their style for this game. They think it's going to be a tough game against Bolton, but I mean, Oxford won their last game, whereas Bolton only drew. So it looks like Bolton should win at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium tonight, but we'll just have to see, because Bolton are out with 3 of their players injured, 2 with knee injuries and 1 with a wrist. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
And that's very well previewed from all of you. I hope you're having good games. Finn, we've already heard from Piran about Bath City, but I want to come to your opinion. I know you watch Bath City quite a lot when you can, especially in their women's team. What are your thoughts on their game ahead of Hemel today?
It's a must-win for them, really. I think they're in the 8th at the moment, but it's so tight up at the top. With a point can just separate them slightly, up into 2nd or 3rd, and even up towards Yeovil at the top. So it's a must-win for them tonight.
And I know you watch a lot of their women's side as well. Just tell us how they're doing, because it doesn't really get the coverage, especially on these nights when they're not playing.
So on Sunday afternoon, it was their last home game of the season, and they won it 5-0 against Shaftesbury Ladies to push them up to 3rd in the league, which is pretty good for a newly promoted team in a league that has sides such as Weymouth and I think Penn Mill are the big ones. But it's been, very promising from a team that was only founded 2 years ago.
And they played on Sunday. Of course, Sunday for everyone else, Mother's Day. So I'll just ask around the panel. I'll start with you, Finn. How was your Mother's Day? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it as much of speaking to Mum for 10 minutes on the walk home from the Bath game, to which I was told that she'd had enough of talking to me and it was time to move on and cook dinner. So, normally I'd send her something in the post, normally sponges or like dishwasher tablets. But I was told very specifically by her this year that she didn't need any more after the stuff I sent her last year.
Lovely stuff. Dishwasher tablet. That's incredible. Abby, any posting of your mum for any household utilities, or what did you get up to on Mother's Day?
No, well, I went back home to North London to spend it with my mum and my nan and my crazy cousins who ended up spending hours dancing and colouring with. But no, so me and my sister did the normal shower stuff, slippers, bath creams, everything like that. The stuff you'd normally get for your mum, not necessarily household products. But no, it was lovely to go back home from uni and spend the day with my whole family, really.
Rochelle, did you get up to much with your mum Mother's Day? How was your Sunday?
It was pretty chill. We were up north visiting family. We went for dinner, and my mum doesn't really like me spending a lot of money on her since being at uni. So I think if I spent any more money, she would have told me off. But I just spent the whole day in true Rochelle fashion irritating her. But yeah, it was lovely.
And Cal, how did you spend your Mother's Day? Was it a good day?
It was all right. Pretty boring, actually. See, this is the thing that me and my mum have in common. I think it's where I get it from. It was pretty much like any other Sunday, apart from, like I say, bought the roast dinner this time, and we went for a dog walk, and that pretty much summed it up. But she was happy, so all's good.
Great way to spend your Mother's Day, and I can see that some of the 7:45 games have kicked off. We got pretty much a full set of fixtures in both League One and League Two. Although we're not covering this game, I can see Forest Green have just taken the lead against Bristol City. Full set of fixtures as well in the National League and pretty much in the North and South as well. A few goals going in, but not too many in the games that we massively care about. Forest Green and that. So, but I know you two across from me watching the lower league English games, Cal and Abby. Any much going on in the opening 3 or 4 minutes that you can spot?
Literally 30 seconds in, both teams, it's a bit of a ping pong in the middle, aerial flick-ons, and the ball's not really settled yet. So no, so we'll see in the next couple of minutes hopefully who's going to get a foothold in this game.
And Abby, much in the opening, probably about 10 seconds of yours?
No, they haven't actually started yet. They're still warming up, just waving their bibs around, but they've just gone in for their final preparations for our 8 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. I thought the 2 EFL games were at 7:45, so I do apologise there. A few more goals going in, but we'll go back to the Champions League games, and I'll ask you to less so about your individual games, but your experiences on the Champions League. Do you watch it much, Rochelle? I know you're an Arsenal fan, so getting used to watching the Champions League more often than recent years.
Yeah, I haven't ever gone to watch the men, but Arsenal women, I went last season, watched them against Bayern Munich, and then the disastrous match against Wolfsburg where we got knocked out in the semi-finals. But yeah, I'm just hoping that they don't stick to their so-called tradition of getting knocked out in the round of 16 this year and actually get a bit further, because we've had a FA Cup upset this year, but hopefully it all goes well.
Thank you very much. And although not in the Champions League, we have had a goal elsewhere in the country. Jamie Somerville, Chesterfield versus Oxford. What's happened, Jamie?
Well, it's just like I said it would be. Chesterfield taking an early lead from Will Grigg header. He's taken those League One qualities and he's really shown them here. Early corner on the right hand side, deflected onto the head of Will Grigg. He put it back in the back of the net. I think it's going to be easy for Chesterfield tonight, but I don't want to make any too many early predictions.
Thank you very much, Jamie. So Chesterfield 1-0 up against newly promoted Oxford City, and I can see Cal furiously waving his hand at me. So Cal, what's happening in your game?
Almost a terrible start for Birmingham. As I was just saying that we were waiting for a team to get a foothold in the game, they've started to knock the ball about across the back four, and it's come to Mark Roberts, who has left John Ruddy extremely short. The goalkeeper is under immense pressure from Borough forward Marcus Fors, who just misses out on getting an easy tap in as Ruddy clears the ball. But Middlesbrough have had the better chance, let's say, of the opening 3 minutes here so far.
Good to see, and it was that Chesterfield goal actually puts Chesterfield up to 91 points in the National League already. I know there's a couple of other goals going in the National League. Ben James reporting on one of them. Who scored, Ben?
So it's an early goal for Ebbsfleet, 3rd minute, number 14, Toby Edsar. The ball's played down the line, Aldershot left back Ryan Glover missed it. It's played across the box for an easy tap-in for Edsar. It's Ebbsfleet 1, Aldershot Town 0.
That goal puts Ebbsfleet up to 14th in the table, rising a couple of places above the likes of Eastleigh, of course. And I know a couple of us are supporters of York City, also falling a position after they conceded in their game that Jamie Somerville was reporting on. But the National League has been praised in recent weeks for how tight it is. But the team at the bottom, Oxford City, are currently losing, as well as Chesterfield, is a team that are winning. Both far adrift from both their points. Oxford on 29 points, 11 points clear. Or below, the team above them, whereas Chesterfield 91 points. Struggling to do the maths, but I think that's 23 points ahead of Barnet in second there. So it doesn't look like Chesterfield are really going to fall. The rest of the playoff teams, Barnet, Bromley and Solihull Moors, are kicking around in there for some points at this point. But the National League, tight as ever. Finn, I didn't get to come to you about your experiences of the Champions League, but what are your experiences of so-called the greatest competition in the world?
I've never been to see a game in the so-called greatest competition of the world, unless you're talking about the National League South. I'm a Chelsea fan, so I've had a good few years. In the past 2012, I still remember Drogba scoring the penalty, but obviously this year it's a bit less exciting. But obviously in 2021, that was pretty incredible as well.
And going around the other grounds, not necessarily in the Champions League, but I can see that Shrewsbury have already been reduced to 10 men in their game against Exeter, and also that Lincoln City leading against Cambridge United. So those goals in League One coming in, or goal in League One, sorry. There's no other goals to report in our coverage of games, and by the looks of it, only one game still kicked off. It feels like we've been chatting for about a million years already, but it's not. It's only been about 8 minutes of your Solent Sports News Soccer Night. Do get in contact with us on Twitter or X or whatever social media platform you use. Solent Sports News, the handle, if you want to get us involved. And someone who also wants to get involved at the minute is Cal, as there's more action in his game.
Yeah, Pritchard has just had a great opportunity for Birmingham. He's just picked the pocket of Johnny Housen in the middle, and the goalkeeper, Seni Dieng for Boroughs, probably about 5-10 yards off his line. I think Pritchard's just taken a quick look up, and he's gone to dink him, and unfortunately for him and his Birmingham teammates, it's just sailed over the bar. But a couple of mistakes at each end. It could be a nervy afternoon for both sides there.
Thank you very much, Cal. Looking still around the grounds in the National League South, which I know will perk mine, Finn's and Piran's interest today, albeit not at Piran's game. Eastbourne currently trailing at Dover. That hurts to think about how far away that game is between those two sides, but luckily it's a close one for those two. But Dover taking the lead, rather shock. Eastbourne flying high at the top of that league recently, whereas Dover not doing too well. Lots of other games around the world, but not many goals in the opening 8 minutes or so. Still only that one red card of note. Lincoln still leading by 1-0. Forest Green, who had a bit of a torrid season, they travelled away to Bradford City today. Still only 1-0 there, but nothing's really going on, is it? It's a little bit flat at the minute. Anybody got any interesting football quips or stats in their games that they want to bring up? I know Finn was very vocal about his Champions League stats. Have you got any players with harder names to pronounce than the Georgian attacking midfielder?
I don't think there's many harder than he who shall not be named. Got Svanislav Lobotka in midfield for Napoli. Frank Anguissa. And I think that's about it in terms of difficult names.
Rochelle, have you got any particularly difficult names? Obviously the Arsenal ones will be rather easy because we hear them week in, week out. But any difficult Porto names that will struggle you and twist your tongue later this evening?
Probably, and I'm not going to try and pronounce them right now. I'm going to give myself a little bit more time. We've still got 6 minutes until kick-off. But let me just put it, there's probably about 60% of the team that I'm looking at and thinking, how on earth do I pronounce that name? So fingers crossed you come back to me in 20 minutes and I may be slightly better at this game.
Well, if I could just get some numbers from you this time, what do you think the numbers are going to be in terms of scoreline? Because I know I've had a rough estimate, but I want a concrete score from you.
Oh, I'm considering we're at Emirates. I'm gonna go with 4-0. I'm gonna push the boat out. I'm gonna go with 4-0.
4-0, right? Now you've given me the impetus. Who's going to score the Arsenal goals? Presumably 4-0 to Arsenal, I assume.
I would like to think so. Do you know what? I'm gonna go with Odegaard, Saka, Saliba, and then Rice, or maybe Saka getting a brace. Maybe. I don't know. That's what I do think, though. So, fingers crossed, I was right.
You're being fed with the flurry of Arsenal goals that they've scored recently. Those seems to be the players that they've really been scoring. I know Rice has bagged quite a few. But, Finn, if I can get some numbers from you on who you think's going to score. Obviously, we don't get to really watch the highlights of Barcelona versus Lazio that often. But who do you think's going to bag and how many?
I'm sure they don't watch the Barcelona-Lazio highlights. It's probably the Barcelona-Napoli highlights because that's who's playing. And it could be I'm going to go 2-1 Barcelona. I think they'll probably just have enough to push past a Napoli team that's not been as good this season. They only sit 7th, 31 points off the title they won last year. So I'd probably go a Lewandowski penalty, and I'll say Yamal will score and be the first 16-year-old to score in the Champions League.
And we've got some people coming through on the chat as well. I can see Piran Phillips wants a word with us. So, Piran, what's happening in the National League South?
Yeah, it's still Bath City 0, Hemel-Hempstead 0. But most of the ball has been going to Bath's way. Right winger Ewan Clark has been cutting in onto his left foot and has been delivering some brilliant crosses. But Hemel's goalkeeper, Jonathan McCauley, who only signed last week and it's his second game with the club, has been dealing with them perfectly. And Bath's strikers have been struggling to get on the end of it. But Bath actually are on the attack now. And it's Ewan Clark who goes ahead and a bit of skill, but it goes out for a goal kick. It's been all Bath early on, but it's still 0-0.
Thank you very much. And also in our live games, we've got Diogo Andrade watching Warsaw versus Barrow. What's happening up in Warsaw, Diogo?
Hello, Jamie. It's been a bit of a scrappy game, to be fair. I think Warsaw are settling into the game, being home. I think they've got the advantage, the support of the home fans as well. I reckon they could beat Barrow for the first time in their history. They got a chance here, but unfortunately, the keeper saves it. But yeah, I think it's really close actually. But I think Warsaw could edge this one today.
Lots of drama in the EFL games at the minute. Carlisle have taken the lead against Barnsley all the way up at the end of the world. Then Newport have just taken the lead against Morecambe. I know we were trying to get a couple of people out to Newport, but wouldn't necessarily let us in. Tranmere taking the lead against Mansfield. So League 2 has got goals on goals, and Cal signalling over to me. What's happening in the Championship?
It just looks very panicky each time the ball goes near the Birmingham box. So Latte Lath sort of was driving into the box, looked to slip in Marcus Fours. Couple of deflections. Seni Diang is in sort of no man's... John Roddy, rather, sorry, for Birmingham is in sort of no man's land. It gets cleared, a couple other deflections, and of all people, it falls to Paddy McNair, who's playing centre-back for Middlesbrough, who tries to bend a shot just into the top right corner, and it's floated just over. But yeah, very, very panicky in the box at the moment. I think Birmingham needs to settle a few nerves out there. But yeah, still 0-0 at the moment.
Thank you very much. And we've got either Nathan Potter or Freddie Dorman down in Swindon watching the game against Accrington. What's happening in that game, guys?
Well, it's 0-0 here, but Swindon have had a really good opportunity to take the lead here. There's a goal-mouth scramble. Last attempt was from Devison Devoy, but his effort was saved, and not really sure what happened on it. It's too many bodies in the area, too many attempts, but it remains 0-0 here.
And I reiterate, you need to go on to Solent Sports News socials, A, to get in contact with us so we can get some of your opinions and give us something to talk about, because not really a lot's happening at the minute because the Champions League games haven't kicked off yet. But also, I implore you just to go on there to look at Nathan Potter trying to navigate the magic roundabout. It's a beautiful video, and I won't spoil the ending. He doesn't crash, but it's just a beautiful piece of cinema that I recommend you go and watch. But we are building up. The clock above me says 20 seconds till Champions League, guys. Final thoughts ahead of that one.
It's going to be a good game. I think every game they've played in the last 5 there's been a goal. So I don't see how two teams that are it's basically all they've got left to fight for this season. They're both out of the cup competitions and need some sort of silverware or some sort of cup success. So it's going to be all guns blazing, hopefully, from both sides.
And Rochelle, back to you for the Arsenal one. What's going to happen? Your final pre-match nerves. Imagine you're walking out there at the Emirates. What's going to go through your head? But if you had to commentate, not play.
I mean, if I was there, I'd probably be very not calm right now. I'd be very nervous. But sitting here watching it, I feel good about it. Hopefully, first bit of, on our way, not going to jinx anything, but on our way to first bit of silverware since 2020. It should be fine. I mean, we'll probably see how Arsenal start playing in the first 10 minutes because sometimes they can be very wishy-washy. So get back to me in a minute and I'll be able to tell you whether my scoreline, I feel more confident about it or not.
And the scoreline may have changed for Billy Hunter, not too sure, but we've got an update from him in his game. Billy, what's happening down there at the Cherry Records?
Hey Jamie, still 0-0 here at Wimbledon. Wimbledon have had most of the possession and definitely the better chances. Omar Bugles had a shot on goal. There was a great save by the keeper of Gillingham, Glenn Morris. Still 0-0 here at the Cherry Records Stadium.
Thank you very much, Billy. Gloucester have scored in the National League North against Tamworth. Gloucester, who have got to host 2 current teams at their stadium at the minute because they're hosting Truro 195 miles away in that one. But goals going in quite a rapid rate, and if you care about the Egyptian Premier League, Al Ahly have just gone 2-1 up inside 30 minutes then. I don't think we've got a reporter there, but it flashed up on my screen. Armstrong, the scorer for Carlisle, as they go 1-0 up against Barnsley. It was an own goal, actually, for Altrincham off of a York City body that has given them the lead. A couple of actions going. Bolton versus Oxford United just kicking off for Abby. Just kicking off, but what are your final thoughts ahead of the game, Abby?
Well, I mean, Bolton, out of their 10 home games that they've had, they've won 7. So the percentages are in their favour, but they will struggle without Victor Adeboyejo. He's currently out 4 to 6 weeks after he picked up a hamstring in their last game in Exeter on Saturday in the first 10 minutes. But this might make some people feel old. The last time they became a runner-up in the league was 2004. Most of us here were born in 2004, so don't know how that's going to make some people feel. But yeah, just kicked off. Some action so far, but yeah, not a lot to go on yet.
Where there is some action is with Piran Phillips down in Bath. Piran, has there been a goal? Tell us about it.
Hi Jamie, yes, it's 1-0 to the home side. Bath City are 1-0 up against Hemel Hempstead. It was a free kick given on the edge of the box. And as I said before, Ewan Clark, number 7, he's been delivering some awesome crosses, and it was another beautiful one. It went straight onto the head of Jordan Dyer, who put it into the back of the net. And Bath City are now 1-0 up against Hemel Hempstead.
Bath City 1 up at Hemel Hempstead there. Sorry, Piran, I had to come and do it. But there's also updates from Jamie Somerville at Chesterfield in the National League. Jamie, what's going on there?
So much has happened. I went to go to the video team to give an update here at Chesterfield. It's still 1-0. But as I was giving the update, Chesterfield conceded a penalty, which was subsequently saved. Joshua Parker went to his left and Harry Trotter saved it. So it's still 1-0 here at Chesterfield.
Drama there with a penalty save and a goal inside the opening 15 minutes. And Harrison Richards is also in the National League. He's at Roots Hall watching Southend versus Dorking. Can you give us an update there, Harrison?
Yes, it's Southend 0, Dorking 0. Not really, not much has happened so far. It's a very even game. Fans are loving it though, and maybe Southend are just starting to get on top at the moment. They just had a few crosses cleared, but still 0-0 at the moment.
And I'll tell you what, Cal across from me is given a look of a man who's just seen a brilliant goal. Cal, tell us more about it.
It's taken us 16 minutes, but we've had our first bit of actual real quality in the game, and Michael Carrick can be very happy with how this has come around. They win the ball back off Pritchard, who gets dispossessed quite easily in the middle of the park. Luke Aylin has the ball, drives forward with it. He sees he's got a better option. I haven't actually seen who it is that has scored the goal. I'm just watching the replay to it now. He squares it to number 8, Riley McGee, who then rifles it from just outside the D, left foot across goal into top right-hand corner. Fantastic finish, and that's Middlesbrough 1-0 up.
Brilliant stuff. Finally, some goals to talk about in the studio, but we'll go elsewhere now because Cam Moody's watching Portsmouth. Cam, what's happening there?
Yeah, hi Jamie. 0-0 at Portsmouth so far. Just over 17 minutes in at Fratton Park. It's been quite a quiet game so far, although Portsmouth did come very close to getting the opener with a free kick from about 25 yards out. It was Sydney, the number 15, who took the free kick, and it hit the top of the crossbar, but 0-0 here still at Portsmouth.
And probably still 0-0 in the Champions League games, but I'll await with bated breath. Finn, what's happening in the Champions League?
It is still 0-0, but it should be 1-0 Napoli. Osimhen threw on goal, but into the box, but just kicks it straight at ter Stegen, who comfortably saves. But before that, it had been all Barcelona. Yamal has been running down the right consistently, and he's been shooting. I think he's had a couple of shots that have gone well over the bar. But yeah, I think Barcelona are well in the ascendancy, but Napoli should be 1-0 up.
And sticking with the Champions League, Rochelle, probably just taking over 5 minutes in. What's happening for Arsenal?
Nothing really, and they had one good chance on goal across, fell into possession of Ben White, but he sent it straight over the crossbar. At the moment, it's a Porto throw-in, and yeah, nothing has come from it. It's Arsenal. Both teams are having their strong moments, but again, it's too early to say anything on each side at the moment.
And goals across the grounds as well. Woking leading 1-0 at Rochdale. Newport doubled their lead against Morecambe. Those are the goals in the EFL. And sticking with the EFL, we'll go across to our final 8 o'clock game that we haven't mentioned yet with Abby. Abby, what's happening with Bolton versus Oxford?
Not a lot so far, but Bolton are definitely feeling the heat from Oxford. They've managed to get the ball in the home team's area, but they just haven't managed to conceive the goal yet. Oh, there was so close, just to the right side of the goal, just skimmed it from Bolton, and that was definitely close. Oh my God! But yeah, it will be a close game between them. Oxford are definitely bringing the heat to Bolton tonight.
And more goals in the action down at step 2 of non-league. There's already a 1-1, Hereford 1, Alfreton 1 down there. Also Braintree 0, Dartford 0, but Braintree have had a man sent off, and Dover still lead 1-0. We have a game covered in the National League South, which is why I'm sticking to that league intently, definitely for no other supporter allegiance reasons. Wickham just scored against Wigan in the battle of the W teams. I could see the producer giving a little fist bump. You're a West Ham fan, aren't you, Chloe? But we'll carry on with that one. Any much happening in the games? Anyone got anything to mention? Because we're struggling there. Cal finally putting his hand up.
Just as we've come back from Birmingham, have been forced into an early change just 20 minutes in. Centre-back Mark Roberts, I think it looked like he'd pulled a hamstring. He's been replaced by Cody Drame. And just literally 2 minutes after that, again, a little bit scrappy, but Birmingham have worked the ball in from the right-hand side through Koji Miyoshi, who finds Jordan James about 6-7 yards out, some tidy feet, but unfortunately for Birmingham, he just drags his shot wide of the left-hand post.
Thank you very much. Eloquently described yet again. We've got a great panel here this week telling us about the action, and we have, in fact, reports coming in. Ben James, what's happening down at Aldershot?
So it's still Ebbsfleet 1, Aldershot 0 at the moment. However, the last 5-10 minutes, Aldershot have been all over them. They've had 3 or 4, I wouldn't say clear-cut chances, but decent chances. Ebbsfleet are on the back foot now. Aldershot look to push and make advantage of this pressure. I'll get back to you with any updates as soon as I can.
Thank you very, very much, Ben. Hope you're enjoying down there, albeit probably quite a cold day in Hampshire. And I can see some action. Abby, anything happening in the Oxford game?
Yeah, there was a perfect header by Bolton, but again, it can't have been more than 5 yards off the top of the goal. It was so close. Bolton are definitely putting their shift in tonight to make sure they get early goals, but so close. It just hit the goalkeeper's hand just off to the left-hand side by number 9, who is Bodvarsson for Bolton. And yeah, I'll tell you, both Bolton have been close with the goals, but Oxford are fighting their way back to the Bolton area of the pitch.
Thank you very much. Their goals in the National League South as well. Taunton have taken the lead away at Torquay. So a side that were in about step 4 of the National League a couple of years ago, while Torquay was sunning it up in League One. Really the story. But I just love Solent Sports News Soccer Night. It really shows the diversity. We've got one man currently sat in Twerton, and we've also got another man watching Barcelona. So it really shows the diversity of Solent Sports News today. But the man who is watching Barcelona, we haven't heard from him in about 45 seconds, and I'm bored. So what's happening in the Champions League, Finn?
Just very scrappy. Lots of play in the middle of the park. Osimhen's run through on goal would have probably been offside. So at the end of the day, that doesn't matter as much that he missed. But lots of long shots that are just going past the post, and not much really happening in this game either.
In the most exciting competition in the world, not much happening. It's exactly what we love to see. Confirmation of the goal for Wickham was a Tickle own goal. Well, I think we need a competition of who's got the funniest surname of the evening, and I think Mr. Tickle is winning that one so far. Any other funny names in your guys' lineups? Rochelle's making a face. Is something happening in the Arsenal game, Rochelle?
No, I thought something was going to happen, but as always, I prepared myself too early. But just a minute ago, you gave us praise for having a good panel. I'd just like to say that my dad said that you're a very good presenter. So well done, mate.
Thank you very much. But keep those comments coming. We want them. We want to name drop. Not just calling me a good presenter. We want name drops for everybody. I've not had a single message yet. The only one I've had is that John Ferreira has connected with me on LinkedIn. So there's a positive there. I hope you're listening, John. But not much happening in the games at the minute. Anyone got anything going on? Please, we're clutching for straws at this point. Somebody put your hand up. Just take something.
From a quite juicy tackle from Johnny Howson, a slightly late tackle on Andre Dozzell in the middle of the pitch. But other than that, since the goal, Birmingham reacted quite well in the first sort of 5 minutes, but we've gone back to quite flat now, and both teams just knocking it around, trying to keep possession for a little bit longer than 5 or 6 passes at the moment.
I'm glad that we've had a goal in the studio at least, because my worst fear is that all of the games would be 0-0, not least because I don't want the English side going out of the Champions League. Definitely, that's only the reason I don't want Arsenal going out of the Champions League, absolutely not. But anything really happening? I can see Abby writing something down. Is something happened, please? I want a goal. I want some goal mouth action.
So Brangan had a kick, free kick. So, yeah, it's so close for Oxford. It was Oxford's chance to get ahead. But, yeah, just went to the right, hit the goalkeeper's hands and went off the pitch. But Oxford had such a good chance, but unfortunately just missed. But the possession is not too far apart. Most of it is 45% in Oxford and 25% in Bolton, but in a couple minutes that will change. Oxford are putting in a right shift to keep it in the Bolton area.
Thank you very much. We've also got Piran down at Bath City. He's on the line. You're a bit greedy. You've already had a goal. You've got a chance now to tell us about Piran. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm going to get it right this time, Jamie. It's Bath 1, Hemel Hempstead 0. But Hemel just had the best chance of the game so far. As I say that, Bath are now in, and that almost looked like a handball in the penalty box. There's a big shout from the Bath crowd that it's gone for a corner, but Hemel were in just now, and Michael Polivi was in. It was almost a 2-on-1 against the goalkeeper, but he goes to take it himself, and the goalkeeper makes the save, and it goes out for a corner. But Bath just then have gone up the other end and almost got themselves a penalty, and they now have a corner coming up, and I'll update you then if anything happens. It's still Bath 1, Hemel Hempstead 0.
Thank you very much, Piran. Getting greedy with all of that goal mouth action down there and potentially a penalty. And we've also had some action in the Champions League with Rochelle, Arsenal. What's happening?
It's probably not even that funny, but just to see a Portuguese man... Oh, sorry, Arsenal almost scored. Seeing a Portuguese man with his shirt off dancing in the away end of the Emirates Stadium in the 12th minute of the game was quite entertaining on a Tuesday evening for me. So, that's all that's really happening at the moment, is a Portuguese man dancing on my TV.
And, well, we've had a man dancing or almost doing something comical on Solent Sports News before. Freddie Kilby joins us. Freddie, what's happening in your game?
Yeah, not much here. It's Leyton Orient 0, Port Vale 0 at the moment, Jamie. About 25 minutes in approximately. To be fair, both teams have enjoyed some half chances, but nothing's really changed both keepers. And I'd actually have to say that Port Vale's defence have challenged their own goalkeeper more than Orient's attack so far. So it's going to be. It sounds like it's going to be one of those games. Nathan Smith, the captain for Port Vale, has picked up a yellow card already for blocking Joe Piggott's run in behind. So he will be treading some ice so far, trying to avoid a sending off. But an interesting quick fact for you: Port Vale's club president is actually Robbie Williams. So he'll be happy that it's 0-0 so far, and he'll certainly take that.
Coming out with the brilliant stats again, but we're going to drop down to the National League. Harrison Richards, something's happened in the Southend game at Roots Hall. What's happened?
Yeah, it's Southend 1, Dorking Wanderers 0, and it's a brilliant goal from Scott Morris. There's a free kick one on the edge of the box. The Southend fans are chanting off. It's not a red card, he gave a yellow, but Scott Morris bends the free kick into the top corner, and it's Southend 1, Dorking 0.
Gus Scott-Morris, the Southend right-back, recently called up for the England C team, so he's had an absolute sensational week. And speaking of something sensational, and I've brought this up to you guys already, but we've got 13 people watching games at the minute, albeit 4 of you here. We've got 9 people around the country, going around grounds, going around the country, trying different service stations. I want to question, Rochelle, I'll start with you, if all you could talk about is men with their tops off dancing at Portuguese fans. What's your favourite service station to go for an away game, or just service stations in general?
Do you know what? And I don't know why, but I'm probably just going to say, probably because the ones that I've been to all my life, but probably Clackett Lane or Thurrock. I know they're probably the worst ones to go to, but I probably go to them every single time I travel. So I'm going to go with those two because they're just familiar to me, I suppose.
And Finn, you're gesturing. What's happening in the game? We'll steer away from service station chat. Well, I think we've got to talk about football.
There's been a goal. Barcelona have just taken the lead. Rafinha, who might not have started the game, has an injury doubt coming into it, has got the ball down the left-hand side. He's cut into the byline and crossed it back across to Fremen Lopez, from the La Masia Academy, one of Barcelona's own, who smashed it in from just inside the box into the bottom corner to give Barcelona a 1-0 lead.
1-0 lead and a 2-1 lead on aggregate. Hopefully that's right, and it's definitely Napoli. It's not Lazio, right? I'm reading it on several different screens. I just don't want to get it right because I know that'll never live down well. But Finn, now you've talked about your goal, we got to talk about the more important things here. Service stations, where are you going, what you're doing?
I think the service station of choice has got to be the old faithful Exeter. There's only one way down to Cornwall, and it takes you past Exeter services. I've had a very difficult weekend in Cornwall. The tents broke, we were drenched, we spent 9 hours in the car, but what can you rely on at the back post? Exeter services. It's there to get you a Burger King and a dry pair of socks when you need it most.
I raise you Taunton service station. Where's that getting a mention?
Taunton service station, you're too early in the journey. You can't tap in that early. You've still got 3 hours to go odd after that, so you've got to go to Taunton. You can't go to Taunton, you've got to go to Exeter.
Remember, this is Solent Sports News. I think we should actually get back to football. We'll get to Solent service station news later in the evening when nothing's really happening. I see Morecambe just scored as well against Newport, so that's now Newport 2, Morecambe 1. Altrincham 2-0 up against York City. Lincoln also 2-0 up against Cambridge United in what you could maybe call a little bit of a derby. Cambridge versus Lincoln, neighbouring counties, and not too far away from each other. But we'll go across to the other games, and in fact we're going back to Finn. Are we going back to Finn? We don't know. We're going to go to Finn anyway. Tell us what you're watching, because you've given us more hand signals than anything.
At the moment, Rafinha is breaking down the left-hand side. It's 2-on-2, and he's hit the post. And I think João Cancelo has tapped it in at the back post. It might have been called off. No, they're going mental. He looked like he stopped celebrating, but he's now cupping his ears to the home fans. It was unlucky for Napoli that it hit the post first, but João Cancelo was the quickest to get in at the back post and tap in. So it's now 3-1 on aggregate and 2-0 on the night.
The Barcelona buses of goals, you could say. You wait 15 minutes for one, and then 2 come along at once. But albeit no goals yet, Abby, what's happening in the Bolton versus Oxford game?
Bolton just had their chance for a third goal. Ogbeta went straight through all the players, right in the middle, but just hit the goalkeeper's hands right in the centre of the goal. That was their third chance. Unfortunately, just missed. But apart from that, not much else going on at the minute.
Well, there is something going on, is with Ben James down at Aldershot. What's happening there, Ben?
It's an Aldershot equaliser. It's Ebbsfleet 1, Aldershot 1. Lauren Tollage, the big Swiss target man, has just scored for the Shots. The Shots opted to take a short corner, actually much to the fans' dismay. However, they worked it nicely, created a chance. It was played across the box, and it was slotted home by Lauren Tollage, number 9. That's his 19th goal of the season for the Shots. I'm not sure if you're going to hear behind me, but the Aldershot fans are going mental. It is Aldershot 1, Ebbsfleet 1.
You do seem like you've got some atmosphere there, Ben, so I hope you're enjoying it. Great reporting, as ever. And we're going to go across to someone who's also great at reporting. Callum, your game's probably about half an hour in now. So what's happening in that one, Cal?
Oh, stop it, Jamie, you big flirt. Honestly, you make me blush. It's hot enough in here as it is. Not too much in terms of action here. Middlesbrough have been knocking on the door again. We've had Lewis O'Brien had sort of a pop shop at the edge of the box, straight down the throat of John Roddy. Nothing to worry about for the goalkeeper there. And then just a couple of moments later, Luke Ayling sort of gets to the byline down the right-hand side. He's just by the 6-yard box on the byline, cuts the ball back. Emmanuel Latte-Luth was waiting, but luckily, again, for Birmingham's perspective, Emmanuel Iwu was there to clear. Other than that, both teams going back and forth, but no real quality is being produced in the final thirds at the moment.
And Abby's got her hands in the air like she just doesn't care, but you've got to care for a moment or so. What's happened?
Yes, Ogbeta has just scored. He just had his chance a minute ago, but this time he has pulled through. But he hugged the mascot before his teammates, but guess that's what he wanted to do. But yes, it's right in the bottom right-hand corner of the goal, and just beautiful. Yeah, cheering, hugging the mascot before his teammates. But yeah, beautiful go from him. Finally put his chance to good use. So now Bolton are 1-0 up against Oxford United.
Lovely, exactly what we want to see. So Rochelle, you're the only person we're waiting on for a goal. Is anything happening? Please, just something.
Does my face look like something is happening? No. It is causing me too much stress. They'll get a free kick, they'll absolutely butcher it, and then Porto have possession for like the next 2 minutes. Someone's just fallen over and rolling around like he's really hurt himself. No, he's back up again. He's fine. This game is, as harsh as it is to say, is absolutely boring, and I want something to happen now because it's just going back and forth. It's a bit like ping pong at the moment.
And there's ping pong of goals as well in the EFL. We already mentioned Exeter Services today, and I think we've blessed them because Exeter lead 1-0 away at Shrewsbury, however you want to say it. I'll get your opinions on that later. AFC Fylde lead 1-0 away at Kidderminster as well, and Grimsby leading MK Dons by a goal to 0. Anything happening? We've already had some mascot action. Any other mascot action in any of your other games? Any of them come onto the pitch or anything? No. But we do actually have an update elsewhere in the EFL, and it's at Wimbledon. Billy Hunter's there. What's happened?
Well, it's a cross by the right back. I think it is Jack Curry, number 26, into the box. And Omar Bugle up front for Wimbledon has scored 1-0 to the Dons against Gillingham. Oh, there's a 2-foot challenge by the Gillingham player, number 4, Connor Matson. I think he's already on the yellow card, but the ref is not doing it. Come back to me in a bit. 1-0 to the Dons.
Thank you very much, Billy. We got some live action involved in that one, and don't think any significant punishment there yet. But we've also got the boys from Swindon coming in, either Nathan Potter or Freddie Dorman. What's happening here? Has there been some sort of disallowed goal, gents?
There has been a disallowed goal, but it is still Swindon Town 0, Accrington 0. It was Accrington's first chance of the game, really. Jack Nolan put the ball into the box from a free kick. It bounced around everywhere, but finally fell to Addy In, who's one of the replacements that's come in today. He tapped it into an open net, but the linesman's flag went straight up, and it was disallowed. So it is still Swindon Town 0, Accrington 0.
Thank you very much. And we're going to go pretty much from the opposite end of the country of Swindon. We're going to go up to Partick Thistle as they trail by Wraith Rovers. So Scotland gets his first mention of the game today, and first mention really. I don't think they've got many fixtures kicking around north of the border, but not really many places in non-league especially have many fixtures. The games in the Southern League Central Division all off. That's both Colville, Stourbridge and Kettering Stamford off. All the games in and around the south area of the Southern League South Division. Hanwell, Plymouth Parkway, Hayton, Yedding, Basingstoke, Sholing, Hendon, where we were going to try and send a reporter to, and Tiverton versus Dorchester. All of those games called off. So yet again, a Solent Sports News soccer night. Means some bad weather. So just if you're planning on going to a football game when we're covering, don't do that. Sit down, watch us, tweet us, because please, for the love, we want something. We want some action. We want some tweets. We want some opinions. Tell us what you think. We've already had a lovely compliment from Rochelle's dad. I'm waiting for a message from one of my mum or dad about how good I'm doing, but they said they'd watch, but nothing quite as of yet. Any action from anybody? Just somebody give me something. You're all shaking your heads. I'm rather disappointed. Cal, you've been good for me to throw to action to. Just please tell me something.
Birmingham, it's taken them 36 minutes, but I think they're slightly on top at the moment. A couple of decent passages of play, spells of possession, moving the ball around quickly, which I think has been key as things were quite slow at the start. But they've only had one chance come from that where where they go on? Koshi Miyoshi, again with some great feet in the middle, beats about 4 players. It gets put out wide, and Alex Pritchard completely shanks it, which is a shame again for Birmingham, but still 1-0 to the Borough.
We want some sort of interaction with people. We've had a message from someone called Charlie Bender, who may be on the social team here on the Solent Sports News Soccer Night, who've done a great job so far putting memes everywhere. And I think, Charlie, you chief meme officer for today as well, but he's put a great joke in the chat saying, love that take that joke from Freddie. I'm sure there'll be a goal in his game. He just needs a little bit of patience. It's brilliant, it's punny, and there's some more action because Freddie Kilby is back on the line. Freddie, what's happening in your game?
Yes, thank you, Jamie. It is Leyton Orient 0, Port Vale 0 still, but oh my God, Port Vale missed an absolute sitter. They should have really been 1-0 up. It was a brilliant bit of play from Gavin Massey, a former Orient player as well. He broke down that right wing and he put a lovely ball into the middle of the box. And former Manchester United graduate, James Wilson, he shot his effort way over high of the bar, and it's an absolute sitter, and it should have been 1-0. But it is still Leyton Orient 0, Port Vale 0 here.
I love Mr. Kilby's energy, honestly. Diogo is on the line watching Walsall versus Barrow. I need that level of energy. What's happened?
Oh my days, Jamie. You won't believe what I've just seen. A beautiful corner kick, and it is Rolling Meniyese, the number 24. He's done it for Walsall. It's looking like they're going to get their first victory against Barrow. Barrow being 6th, they really need a win. And if they want to get playoffs, they're going to need to come back. And now with the home fans supporting them, it's looking like Walsall may win the game. They may win the game, Jamie.
Thank you very much. We've had the energy. We're going to go to somebody else. Billy Hunter, keep up this energy. It's exactly what we want. What's happening in your game, Billy?
Well, it's unbelievable because as I was talking about Conor Madison 2-foot challenge, the next thing he does is goes and gets a second yellow card. Still 1-0 to the Dons, but Gillingham are down to 10 men. And bad is looking for worse for them. Still 1-0 here at the Cherry Red Records Stadium.
And sticking in the EFL, we've got Cam Moody watching Portsmouth. What's happening in your game, Cam?
Hi, Jamie. There's been an absolute sitter that's been missed at Fratton Park. There was a ball played in from the right-hand side towards the back post, and number 15, Sadie, has outstretched his right leg to it, but it's just gone too far for him, and he's put it wide. But a great chance for Portsmouth. Definitely their best opportunity of the night so far.
Thank you very much, Cam. And we've still got the energy, and we've got Jamie Somerville on the line in the National League, Chesterfield, Oxford. Keep the energy going. What's happening in your game, Jamie?
Well, we've just seen a massive mistake from Darren Aldiker. It's still 1-0 for Chesterfield, but Darren Aldiker's trying to play it back to captain Jamie Grimes. And Grimes lets it go straight into the path of Parker for Oxford City. And luckily, it just goes into the side of the net for Chesterfield. It's still 1-0 though.
Brilliant energy from all of our reporters so far. They're doing so well. And I'll tell you what, we've mentioned Exeter. We've given them the faith. Not only have they scored once, but they've scored twice. Exeter lead against Shrewsbury 2-0. Cal's got his hand up, thinks he wants us to go to him, but looks rather hesitant. Why the hesitancy, Cal?
I'd say more confusion than hesitancy. I'm not quite sure how Middlesbrough weren't just awarded a penalty. Paddy McNair's running down the right-hand side, slips the ball into Ayling again, as almost the same as the goal, and Ayling's travelling towards the byline, and I wasn't quite sure which Birmingham defender it was, comes sliding in, nowhere near the ball. The ball's on the right-hand side of Ayling's body. Nothing given. I'm just confused. I'd like to see it again, but yeah, just from the first two views of it, I'm quite shocked that that's not been given.
And Abby's also waving her hands around in the air. It looks like she cares a little bit more than last time. But Abby, what's happening in your game between the two teams that you're watching?
Yeah, let's just say it wasn't the best move from the goalkeeper. So Oxford were running with the ball, trying to stop Ducras Cogley. But yeah, the ball managed to hit the goalkeeper, bounce off the goalkeeper into the feet of the Bolton player, and straight into the back of the goal. Yeah, looks like a bit of a mess with legs and people flying around everywhere. Pitch might be a bit slippery, but yeah, Bolton are 2-0 up against Oxford United. So far, keeping their streak of winning their home matches. But yeah, not the smartest move from the goalkeeper.
So it seems like Oxford United and their goalkeeper can't do it on a rainy Tuesday night in Bolton. Harrison Richards is on a rainy Tuesday night in Southend. He's here to give us an update. What's going on in Southend, Harrison, at Root Hall?
Well, it's still Southend 1, Dorking 0, but there's been a change for Dorking. Mewett has gone off. He was on the yellow card for Blair. He didn't look injured to see me run off fine, so I don't know if this classic Mark White is frustrated with his team's performance because they simply haven't been at the races so far, and they'll need a big team talk at half-time to get them back in this one. But it's still 1-0 Southend.
haven't been at the races. I'm sure there's a Cheltenham joke in there somewhere. I'm just not really brave enough to find it. Scores from around the grounds in the National League South, still Bath 1, Hemel Hempstead 0 by the sounds of it. Braintree, in fact, didn't go down to 10 men. They lead 1-0 against Dartford. Dover still leading 1-0 away at Eastbourne. Taunton have now doubled their lead, actually, Torquay, right before half-time. St Albans leading against Weston-super-Mare. Farnborough, obviously a Hampshire team, they're away at Worthing tonight. They're leading by 2-1, and Yeovil beating Chippenham. The less said about that, the better. But as we scroll up to the top of the pyramid, as we go up a little bit, Exeter still 2-0 up. They're really running away with it, Exeter. 2-0 up, running away with it. You could say driving away with it to a service station. I'm trying to keep the jokes going. But to be fair, I just want an update about the Champions League and the Arsenal game, Rochelle. What's happening?
Nothing. Well, no, you can't say nothing. Arsenal are sort of driving their attack a bit more than they were. At current moment, they are taking a corner, taken at the moment by Declan Rice. Hopefully something comes from it. And no, nothing. I'm afraid not.
Nothing coming to that, but something coming from the Barcelona-Napoli game. Finn, what's happening there?
It's 2-1. Napoli have got a goal back. Politano won the ball back on the right-hand side and put the ball across to Osimhen, but it didn't end up with Osimhen as it bounced back towards the edge of the box. And I'm trying to work out who was there. I'm not sure at the moment. I think it's the centre-back Ranami, who I don't know what he's doing that far up the pitch, but he's done a good job for his team as they're now 2-1 up.
Goals flying in for everybody except Rochelle and Arsenal at the minute. And in fact, Cal's only had the one goal, so a little bit unfair to him, but he's had some drama and some confusion. Did you get a chance to look back at the incident, Cal, or are you still as confused as you were before?
No, still as confused. I'm hoping they'll show it at half-time on a break or something. They've not got back to it, unfortunately.
The life without VAR. Imagine how good VAR would be in the Championship. I'm not sure if we... In fact, we'll get the opinions on VAR, because obviously two of the games, the Champions League games, do have VAR in them. The two EFL games don't. Finn, when you've got the microphone near your lips, what are your thoughts on just VAR as a whole while we enter a little bit of a quiet period?
It should be used, but effectively. At the moment, the time it takes and the way it's used may not be in the right way. Spending 4 minutes sat in a stadium not knowing what's going on isn't good, but if it can be used effectively and actually help the game, then it should be there.
Rochelle, your Arsenal opinions, obviously watching them this evening, what are your thoughts on VAR and how it should be implemented?
I agree with Finn. I think it should be used. It takes way too long for decisions to be made. Sometimes the decisions are wrong and then they're proven that they were wrong, which just, again, it isn't fundamental to any team if it's wrong. I mean, obviously it's going to be fundamental to the team if it went against 4, but at the end of the day, if wrong decisions are being made, it's just going to ruin the sport more. I'm going to have to mention it. Everyone's probably going to roll their eyes at me. But VAR isn't used in women's football. I do think it could be used at some points. There's been certain moments in the season that I've seen myself that VAR and even goal line technology should be used. So maybe that is the next step, putting it into, again, maybe like lower leagues or the women's sport itself.
Brilliant. And to be honest, I think that is a thing that doesn't get enough traction, is the fact that I don't think any women's football has VAR in it. And realistically it should, because it is being played at the same level as the Premier League. But the half-time scores rolling in from around the grounds. Notts County still lead by a goal to nil at Crawley. That game's just hit half-time. The early goal was from Forest Green. They scored just under a minute in away at Bradford City. But we've got Jamie Somerville on the line, Chesterfield versus Oxford for your half-time roundup, I think. Jamie, how's the first 45 been?
Yes, it's still Chesterfield 1, Oxford 50-0. It's been a surprisingly equal last 30 minutes. The first 15 minutes totally dominant from Chesterfield, but the last 30 minutes both teams have had good chances. I think Chesterfield could have been a bit more clinical to allow themselves to get a bigger advantage, but I still don't think Oxford fully have that chance in them. They missed a penalty and that was their best chance of the game. But to be honest, I could see 3 or 4 more from Chesterfield after that half-time team goal.
Thank you very much, Jamie. And also in the National League, we've got Ben James. Ben, what's happening down in the Champions League game? The National League game, that's what it is. Definitely not the Champions League. Aldershot versus Ebbsfleet in the National League. Ben, what's happening there? Do we have Ben? I think the team's link is just getting sorted out. I won't leave you with silence. We do have Ben James. Ben, what's happening in that game?
So a lovely little ball down the line. It's now 2-1 to Aldershot. I've got a nice little short corner with a little cross into the box. Went through, looked like nothing was going to happen. And Laura Tolash pokes it in for his brace of the day. And that is 2-1 at Aldershot.
Thank you very much. And going back up into the EFL, we've got Billy Hunter. What's happening in your game?
So it is 1-0 AFC Wimbledon still, and Gillingham are still down to 10 men, and the referee has just blown for half-time. 1-0 here in southwest London, and we'll be back for the second half, JV.
Thank you very much, Billy. Again, keeping up that energy, and it's exactly what we love to see. If the two Champions League games provided us with any energy whatsoever, Rochelle, I know it's been a bit boring. We've had 3 goals for Finn. Can we have a goal from an English side in the Champions League, please?
I'd like to think so. I would want that to be a goal, obviously. But there's nothing. It's a very cagey start. People are going to have to start taking risks, and they're not doing that at the moment. So hopefully, we've got just over 10 minutes left of the first half. So hopefully, if it doesn't happen now in the second half, they'll start, taking their risks a little bit. Fingers crossed.
And the man who took his risks was actually Dorking's Mark White, subbing somebody off in the first half, seemingly for no injury. I'll let Harrison, who's on the line, and he was at the Southend Dorking game, tell us a bit more about it with his little bit of roundup. But Harrison, have you come to any sort of conclusion as why Mark White would do that, or was it, as you said, just Mark White doing Mark White things?
To be honest, mate, I just think it's Mark White being Mark White. But yeah, it's half time here. Southend 1, Dorking 0. Not been too many chances in the game, to be fair, but a bit of quality from Scott Morris, and his free kick sees the host lead 1-0. But Mark White's going to have some words at half time because it simply wasn't good enough from Dorking. But 1-0 Southend at half time.
And as we tickle over into the half times around the grounds, we've actually had a goal, I think, at Portsmouth. Cam is on the line. Tell us a little bit more about it, Cam. What was it like? How did it happen?
Yeah, hi Jamie. Portsmouth are 1-0 up at Fratton Park. It's a penalty that's been converted. Yengi, who slotted it away with a brilliant Panenka-style penalty down the middle. It was number 15, Sydney, who won the penalty. He was taken out from behind as he leached onto a ball on the edge of the area. Defender took him out from behind, and Yengi stepped up confidently and tucked it away down the middle. 1-0 Portsmouth.
Thank you very much, Cam. We've also got another game in the EFL. We've got Nathan Potter, Freddie Dorman, Swindon Accrington. Half-time roundup. What's happening?
Well, it's half-time here at the county ground. It's 0-0, and if anyone's had the better chance, it's been Swindon with their goal-mouth scramble. But other than that, I wouldn't say there's been much for Swindon. They've dominated the ball, but that's about it. What about you, Freddie?
Accrington, they've not done much. They've had 1 goal, which is obviously disallowed. That is the boost of their chances. They managed to take beforehand, and they're prioritising a clean sheet here. It certainly looks like that. It is still Swindon Town 0, Accrington Stanley 0.
So we've had one of the most exciting social posts, seeing Nathan having to go round the Magic Roundabout, but we've had one of the most boring games there. So I hope you get some sort of interestingness, if you can call that a word. And I'll tell you what, we're about to get some interestingness because Freddie Kilby is about to join us. Freddie Kilby, what's happening again at Brisbane Road? Please tell us, and I want excitement.
Yes, thank you very much, Jamie. It's half-time here at Brisbane Road. It's Leyton Orient 0, Port Vale 0. It's been a bit of an even affair so far. A lot of crowd noise, actually, from both drums in both North and South Stand. But unfortunately, they've not been able to spur the team on to score any goals yet. But, yeah, obviously we had that missed sitter from Port Vale in about the 30th minute from James Wilson, a Manchester United Academy graduate. Skied his effort high over the bar from quite a very close range, actually. But, yeah, Shaq Ford went down in the penalty box around about the 40th minute mark. But even despite a lot of angry boos from the crowd at the referee, he still waved it away. So, yeah, a bit of an even affair so far here. Both teams enjoying some half chances, but nothing really challenging for any goalkeeper yet. It's Leyton Orient 0, Port Vale 0, half time.
I'll tell you what, Freddie, you had a either 3-4 or 4-3 in your last game, and now it's 0-0 at half time. That's what happens when we're on the radio team. But thank you very much for your update.
Cheers, thank you.
And we've got Piran Phillips also on the line down in the National League South watching Bath versus Hemel. Give us a little bit of a half-time update, Piran. What's happening down there?
It's half-time now, Jamie. Bath 1, Hemel 0. Jordan Dyer got the only goal in the 15th minute after a beautiful cross from Ewan Clark. Most of the attacking play has all come from Bath this half, and Ewan Clark, who got the assist, has been the main focal point on the right wing. He's been cutting in all the time and crossing in with his left foot. But Hemmel's new goalkeeper signing, Jonathan McCauley, in his second game with the club, has dealt with most of them, the one that went in for a goal. Hemmel had a couple chances. I believe he had his chance saved where he could have maybe squared it off to almost walk it into the net. But Hemmel need to take their chances if they're going to get out of this one and avoid the winless streak going to 9. It looks like Bath could be adding a few more. Hemmel have not really created much, so they need to score what they can, really. It's half-time here, Bath 1, Hemmel 0.
Thank you very much, Piran. And Hemel are a side that need to find some goals, obviously recently relieving their manager of his duties. But thank you very much, Piran. And I saw Rochelle, while Piran was talking there, waving her arms about, I don't think it's a goal, but is it some sort of action at the Emirates?
It's not a goal, as much as we probably would like it to be. It was a yellow card for Saliba. Gives a bit of flashbacks of what happened to Saka in the Euro 2020 final. He kind of took down, I'm not quite sure which Porto player it was, but took him down on the sidelines and he kind of fell flat on his stomach. So yeah, a yellow card for Saliba, so he's got to be careful for the rest of the game. But that's all I can tell you at the moment as far as news goes.
And what I can tell you is that this studio is very hot, and we've just added 3 new additions because we've got the social halftime takeover. Charlie Bender is currently looking at me like he wants to say something. Charlie, what have you been doing today? Tell us more about it, and then pass over to the rest of the social guys. In fact, we're not doing that. Rochelle's celebrating. We've got a goal. Who's it for? Tell us about it.
So if it was Porto, I wouldn't be celebrating. It's Arsenal. Trossard just slips it in the back of the net. So they're level on aggregate at the moment. So Arsenal still have a chance just before half-time. Hopefully they can get that leg up in the second half.
Brilliant news, obviously, because we love goals. And that's all goals from all of our panellists as well. So it's not going to be a boring affair. Neither will this social takeover. We got Charlie Bender, I've already mentioned, sat across from me. Charlie, what have you been doing? And then let the other people who are sat behind you introduce them and tell us what you've been doing. Because I think, rightly, are you head of memes for Solent Sports News today?
Well, you could see it that way. I've been running the TikTok and the Instagram today. John's been running the Twitter, and Chloe's been running the live web page. But before I was rudely interrupted by an Arsenal goal, which isn't really welcome anywhere. I was just going to say, just keep an eye on our Instagram, which is Solent Sports News, our TikTok, which is Solent Sport News, and our Twitter, which is also Solent Sports News. But we have constant updates from both our live streams on there, loads of clips, and we're just trying to be as funny as we can. I think some of it's working, some of it's not. But John, what do you have to say about the Twitter? Because that's more your domain than mine.
It's going good so far. I've got a magic roundabout tweet that's got the most likes so far. Everyone else isn't going as well so far. We got a goal, the first goal tweet from Will Grigg. That's about it so far.
And Chloe, what have you been doing on the live blog on solentsportsnews.com?
So I've been in the live blog. I'm adding all the behind the scenes news, so TikToks, memes, photos from the grounds of people taking selfies together. Charlie said that we're trying to be funny. I am being funny in the live blog, so please tune into the live blog. It's hard work and my back is killing me.
Yeah, it's definitely worth listening to this radio broadcast whilst also looking at the live blogs and all the social medias, because obviously you want to appreciate everyone at Solent Sports News, but everyone's working really hard today. We're all fueled up on pizza and brilliant football by the looks of things. These games that they're watching in here they look like great games, and I'm just looking forward to putting out more social media content so all of our lucky followers can really view what we've created for them today. Really, yeah. No, we haven't really had anything viral yet. A few 100 views on each thing. The TikTok account's a bit weird. We've got 63,000 followers yet can't break 1,000 views on a video. So we're working on that. Maybe some dodgy history on there. I'm not too sure at the moment, but we're trying to work things out. But slow and steady wins the race. Like Arsenal might find out come the end of the season, where if they maybe they'll win the league, maybe they won't, but they're definitely taking it slow and steady. Anything to add, Chloe? Do you got anything?
Going to the pub. Anything else? Not really. Just doing the live blog, making sure I catch all the goals and all the TikToks Charlie's been posting. Kevin, our lecturer, has been the star of the show on TikToks. He's getting us some views, so you have to tune in and say hello to Kevin because he's a star of the show at the moment.
Yeah, we had our very own Millie Payne go to Aldershot where she tried some chips at the ground. She gave us a nice review, so that's up on TikTok if you want to see how the Aldershot chips are. And also, there was a red card in one of the games, as you would have heard. Our video team worked hard to tell us who got sent off, unlike Chris Kamara, where he couldn't actually say who'd been sent off because he didn't know. Our reporters knew. Chance knew who got sent off, so fair play to him for just watching a football match and telling us exactly what happened.
Thank you very much, social team. Doing a smashing job as ever. Head of memes, that was Charlie Bender there. Absolutely doing a brilliant job. The social team have done so well. So go over and check out their work. Solent Sports News, all social medias. Get on there. Tell us your thoughts on what we've been doing. Tell us the thoughts on what they've been doing. Keep it nice, of course, because I think we're smashing it. Don't you think, guys? Has anything happened in the brief social takeover? Anything happened in the Champions League games?
No. That's all I can say is no. We had the goal right before, and then I think at the moment they're just trying to just play a bit of good football before the break, and then hopefully at the break one of them will drive it home. Fingers crossed.
Finn, much happening in your game? I know it's still 2-1, I believe, with Napoli, the team that are losing at the minute and trailing on aggregate.
It's definitely Napoli. I don't know what Lazio are doing at the moment, unfortunately. Still very choppy end to end. Since Napoli's goal, they've probably had the better chances. ter Stegen made a great save from Di Lorenzo at the back post. But just scrappy with very few chances and still 2-1, 3-2 on aggregate.
And then, Abby, what's happening much in your game? I know you were the late EFL kickoff, but what's happening in yours?
Absolutely nothing so far. The only thing to take away from this game so far in the first half is that Bolton have just dominated, but it's just been announced that we have 3 extra minutes before the whistle is blown for half-time. So we'll see if any more goals can be pulled out. But so far, not much else has happened. The score still remains 2-0 to Bolton.
And Rochelle has finally had some action again. We've already mentioned the Barcelona buses. We actually got London buses in Arsenal. What's happening in the Emirates?
Well, a few players from Porto were taken down. Whether it was over dramatised, I don't know. But and then Declan Rice tried to defend his team and ended up getting a little hand to the neck. Nothing happened from it, and it seemed that he threatened one of the players by saying "watch out." But apart from that, we're just waiting to see if there's any injuries. Fingers crossed there's not.
That feels like the kind of thing you could make a meme out of. And of course, we got Chief of Solent Sports News memes for this evening. Charlie, you seem like you want to say something. What do you want to say about the Solent Sports News socials?
Well, as head of memes, before this broadcast went out, I had the pleasure of speaking to someone on this panel right here, Finn. So, Finn, I got to speak to you about perhaps pronouncing one of the players' names. Have you had to do that yet, and did it go well?
He who shall not be named has done very little in the game so far, which we can only be thankful for. It's all been down the right, and he's been playing down the left.
So who is this player that we're talking about here?
He's from Georgia.
Okay.
He's a left winger. He was very good last season, and his name's Kvaratskhelia.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make you happy that I've said it?
Yeah, that's really impressed me, Finn. Thanks very much.
Do you want to have a go at saying the name?
No, as the head of memes, I don't feel that's really
I feel
my
like
field
to embrace the memes, you've got to say it.
I'm not sure, to be honest. The one thing I will say is you're doing a smashing job, Finn. Well done. And as are the rest of you guys. I'm going to leave you now to make more memes. Thanks for having me on, guys. I'll come back if you need me to. I'm just a call away. Thank you.
Charlie Bender, head of Solent Sports News memes for the evening. If you want to find those memes, Solent Sports News on all social medias, on the TikTok, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, on the X, whatever you want to call it, you can go and find his memes. We've got a couple of things on there. Charlie Bender has actually already put a message in the chat, so he's very glued to his phone. Lower leagues need a bit more simplified version of VAR, something that can be used for offsides and horrible fouls, but not relied on too much. Probably a reference to the VAR move from earlier, but we take that, so it's a good opinion, and we want more of those opinions in the chat. We've had a message in from Krista Page. The message has been redacted. I hope it wasn't anything too bad, but we appreciate the fact you've been able to come in and say something. So thank you very much for the inclusion there. I've seen a couple of hand signals over that side of the Champions League side of the table. Anything happening, giving us a look. Finn's staring into the laptop screen, so something must be happening, Finn. Or if not, just please make something. Don't make something up. We don't want to do that. But what is happening?
I can confirm that the Lazio players have taken the field in a remarkable move. No, there was just a bit of a goalmouth scramble where the Barcelona were just trying to get the ball out of their feet and take a shot from just inside the box, but nothing came of it and the ball was cleared.
So some drama. Definitely Napoli that are playing. In fact, we've already had the 15 minutes. We're already back into the EFL games. Callie, are you back into your game? If not, do you want to give us a little bit of halftime review? Because I think we kind of left a little bit early before your game, and I'll tell you what, the biscuits have been moved.
On risks a little bit, just as my half was finishing, and I think Birmingham and their fans would probably like to see their side take a few more risks. Quite an empty-looking stadium, and if games have been quite like this season, not many high-scoring ones, and obviously not many victories on the board, hence their league position. I think they need to take a bit more risk going forward, get a few more bodies to try and generate some more attacks. They showed signs, like in a little bit of spells, when they got more players forward, they were able to make some half chances. So hopefully after a good team talk, we'll see a different sort of approach from Birmingham in this half. So the players are just taking back to the pitch now as I speak. So hopefully we'll be able to give you some more updates shortly.
We'll come back to you after we've heard from a couple of our other reporters, Nathan Potter or Freddie Dorman, away at Swindon versus Accrington. They've navigated the magic roundabout, which of course you can see on Solent Sports News socials. But what's happening in your game, guys?
We've had a goal here at Swindon. It's gone to Swindon as well. It's a corner in, and it's Aaron Drinnan who's able to tuck it home, and it's now Swindon Town 1, Accrington 0.
Brilliantly described as ever by Nathan Potter. We've also got Diogo Andrada in there in the chat. Walsall versus Barrow. What's happening in your game, Diogo? Remember, keep the energy going. You did a brilliant job last time. What are we having this time?
Oh my days, I was coming to report something and then they've just hit the post. But what I was coming to originally report was that Walsall have probably had the worst sitter I've ever seen. It was the number 23, Mo Fowl. He's probably had the worst sitter I've ever seen. Man probably could have scored that. He's absolutely fluffed it. And right after, a few minutes after, Barrow have just hit the post. So Walsall 1, Barrow 0.
Thank you very much. And we're going from Walsall to Barcelona. Finn, half-time whistle's just blown in your game. Tell us a little bit about the half. Obviously, a few goals and some Napoli players that have been doing things. But what's been going on in your game at half-time?
It's been very end-to-end, really. Neither team has really been dominant throughout either time in the half. Barcelona probably could have scored a few more, and Napoli are unlucky with ter Stegen making some good saves. So it's all to play for in the second half. No team dominating, and Yamal, the 16-year-old, has been very impressive coming into one of his first games in the Champions League. But yeah, entertaining.
And where we've also got some entertainment, Ben James jamming an Aldershot versus Ebbsfleet. What's happening down there, Ben?
So the second half just kicked off. There's just a big chance right now, and it's a goal for Aldershot Town. That makes it 3-1 to Aldershot. Before there was a good big chance for the other team down the other side. But yeah, that's it. It's 3-1 in Aldershot.
Thank you very much, Ben. We will get confirmation on who's scored that one at some point. But we've got also half-time in the other Champions League game, Arsenal versus Porto. Well, what's happened? Well, what's happened is half-time, but what has happened in the first half that you'd like to tell us about, Rochelle?
It's been very cagey between both teams. Arsenal have just scraped on possession with 55%. They've had more shots, but they've had 7 shots and they've only converted 1. So take that as you will. Yeah, it's been very cagey. Obviously, Arsenal broke through in the very, very late on. So hopefully they can break through very early on in the second half. Obviously to then get the win at home and then progress for the first time in 14 years. So they should make history, if you can call it history, if they win tonight.
We want to see a side make history, and a side that could make history in the National League is Chesterfield, as they've already got 91 points as it stands. We're going to hear from Jamie some of them now, but how many points is Chesterfield going to get is a topic we'll bring on to later. But Somerville, what's happening in your game?
I absolutely love that segue, Jamie. Yeah, it's Chesterfield 1, Oxford City 0 still. We did just see the first chance of the second half go to Oxford City. This Chesterfield defence is leaky, conceding over a goal a game. It's gettable, and like I said, the penalty should have been their best chance, but the first chance came within 2 minutes, and it does really look like Chesterfield aren't invincible. However, it does look like they will break that point record if they keep playing like this.
And we got Piran Phillips also on the line for Bath City versus Hemel Hempstead, and we're getting some interesting reactions come through. Piran, what's happening?
Yeah, the referee's had his handful here. It's still 1-0 Bath over Hemel, but there was almost a sure to be penalty for Hemel. Fleavy made an awesome run into the penalty box, only for Jordan Dart to make a sliding tackle, and in my opinion, it was a penalty. But the referee simply told Fleavy to get up. And then the Hemel boss, he has been going at it for the past minute to referee Robert Alblit. And the new Hemel boss, Alan Dowson, has seen a yellow card for his actions now. And Martin Tyler, the assistant boss for Hemel, doesn't look too pleased either. He's been shaking his head a lot. So it's still Bath 1, Hemel 0.
Great update, as ever, from Piran, and just confirmation that we earlier heard from Ben James about Aldershot going 3-1 up. It's James Daly, the man that has scored for them, so they lead Ebbsfleet by 3-1. And I tell you what, John Duncalf has just joined us. Does John Duncalf, ex-manager, I believe, today for Solent Sports News. How's the world going in terms of the X platform so far, John?
It's good so far. I'm just coming to you for an update for half times if you need a chance.
John, if you've been listening to the show, we've been giving you half-time updates, but absolutely fine. That was John Duncalf, social media manager for today. We've got also more goals flying in. Lincoln City versus Cambridge United. A third goal for Lincoln City down there as we've got action flying in. There's too many goals. Feels like we've just had half-time and we're straight back into the flick of things. We're not into back of flick of things, into the thick of things, they could say. Cal, 6 minutes in or so, as my timing tower tells me, but what have we had so far in the opening 6 minutes?
Well, I was teased with a potentially sort of what I'd asked for and hoped for with Birmingham taking some risks. The substitution came at half-time where they replaced Andre Dozel with Janino Bacuna, who is Birmingham's second top goal scorer with 8 goals and has also got 6 assists to his name this season. So a signal of intent from the manager to start the second half, but nothing has clicked so far. Started similar to how the first half did, a bit scrappy, and nobody really asserting any dominance or getting a foothold of the game at the moment. But, hopefully as the players ease back in second half, I'll be able to give you some more, but still 1-0 to Middlesbrough.
Someone that can give us an update is Diogo watching Walsall versus Barrow. Diogo, what's happening up there?
Mate, Barrow have just scored a penalty. Dean Campbell has stepped up to the plate and it is currently 1-1. I was predicting this earlier, and now Barrow are really looking like they're gonna. Oh my days, they're really settling into the game now. If I was a Walsall supporter, I'd be really worried because Barrow are really stepping up their game now. Walsall 1, Barrow 1.
We had Freddie Kilby last time on Solent Sports News providing all the energy, but Diogo's usurped him for the radio show this time. Brilliant energy, brilliant moves. Diogo, we love you and your energy. Blackpool have taken the lead against Northampton. That's just popped up on my screen as well. But goals flying in the EFL. And Newport have also now just taken a 3-1 lead. So good for the team down in Wales. Tranmere have also just taken the lead against Manfield. So 2-1, the side from Liverpool leading there. And we've also got Harrison Richards with an opportunity for him to speak and an opportunity to talk about Southend versus Dorking.
Yeah, it's still Southend 1, Dorking 0, but Dorking with a really good chance, to be fair, across towards the back post, which Pryor headed just wide of the post. Whatever Mark White said at half-time, it's clearly worked. They've started the half well, the better team, I would say, but for now it's still 1-0 Southend.
I'm sure Mark White was calm, composed and delivered with his half-time team talk, especially after dragging someone off inside of the first 45 minutes. But Mark White doing well, but at the minute, side still losing and staying in the relegation zone of the National League for the first time in the club's history. The side from Surrey could be relegated. Scores from around the grounds as well in the National League South. Still no extra goals to report in the Northern Premier Division. It's actually Bamber Bridge 1, Atherton 1. I'm sure there's a lot of Bamber Bridge fans listening to Solent Sports News today, but we've got an update as well coming from Swindon, and Freddie Dorman is going to be joining us. What's happened near the Magic Roundabout, Freddie?
We've had another goal here, Jamie, and it's from the penalty spot. Jack Nolan puts it into the top left corner. It was an excellent penalty. But the penalty was won by Sean Woolley. A nice, tricky run into the box, and he was finally brought down after skipping a few challenges. But like I said, Nolan puts it into the top left for his 13th goal of the season, and it's Swindon Town 1, Accrington Stanley 1.
Brilliant stuff down there, so lots of action flying in and around the EFL. Cal, you said you'd bring us an update at some point, not necessarily anything happening, but you've had about 10 minutes in the second half now. Much happening for either of the two sides?
Not particularly. Tackles are flying in, things are getting a bit more heated. It was a little bit more like that in the first half, to be fair. Proper championship tie. Birmingham, they've just got a free kick on the right hand side at the moment. Pritchard looks like he's standing over it to deliver it in. Stay with me, hopefully something may come from this as he just whips it in now. Cleared as it has been all evening, to be fair. Middlesbrough have dealt well with aerial threats coming to the box. It was Van der Berg there who cleared it, and so far still quiet, 1-0 to Middlesbrough.
All quiet there, where it's not all quiet, is in the Asian Champions League, as full time it's just about to blow Al Hilal leading Al Ittihad by 2-0. You can't say we don't provide you with scores from around all of the grounds on Solent Sports News, but do remember to check out our socials, Solent Sports News on Twitter, on Instagram and on TikTok. Goal for Derby at Reading. Gale, the goal scorer, on 53 minutes. I think we've got a couple of other goals coming in later on, but we'll just jump to Rochelle. I know you've had about 10 minutes to clear yourself, but what are your predictions for the next 45 minutes for either Arsenal or Porto, and do you want it to go to extra time?
No, I would not like it to go to extra time, because that just makes everything more stressful watching either sides. I'm going to take back my 4-0 prediction and I'm going to change it to maybe 2-0 or maybe 3, and then if they score again, maybe I might change it back to 4-0. I feel like Porto are pushing, but then at the end of the day, Arsenal do have that home advantage, same as Porto did 2 weeks ago. So yeah, at the moment it could be anyone's game, but I do think Arsenal have slightly got it in the bag a bit more than Porto.
And a team that has probably their result in the bag and the league title in the bag, Chesterfield. Jamie Somerville reporting. What's your thoughts on the Doors?
Well, it's 2-0 to Chesterfield. Tom Naylor, the man, I also call Will Griggs scoring, so both of them have come in. But yeah, Tom Naylor, it's 2-0. The ball slid through to him and he puts it right through the keeper's legs, off the post, and it just dribbles over the line. So that should be 3 points in the bag for Chesterfield tonight. But it's 2-0 versus Oxford City for them tonight.
And it could be curtains for Oxford City in the National League. In the National League, sorry, we're getting towards that business end of the season down there, but I'll jump to our maybe second resident expert of the National League South for this one. Obviously, I've not really got you many score updates other than Farnborough now taking a 3-1 lead against Worthing, which again is a little bit of a shock. But Finn, if Oxford City were to get relegated from the National League into the South, where do you think they're going to be bouncing around for next season?
You could end up with the same situation that Yeovil have this year, where they just wipe the floor with everyone. I think they're a million points clear, but it could also be that they end up dropping down and staying there. It's happened before, it can happen again. But all I know is that I'm sure Bath won't be in their league next year when they're in the National League and they get promoted. Yeah.
But on current form, although they are leading by a goal to nil, I think it just keeps them outside of the playoffs. So I don't want to say it too loudly, and I'll get that confirmed because there's all chance I'm actually wrong on that one. But you mentioned Yeovil, they still lead Chippenham by a goal to nil. So we'll carry on talking about that. Cal's flicking his pen up in the air. Is he going to say something? Cal, what are your thoughts ahead of your game?
I think this sort of lets you know how exciting this second half has been, when the most interesting thing that has happened is the referee is potentially getting substituted. Not quite sure what's going on. The game's come to a halt. Both sides are sort of huddled at the halfway line, taking on some drinks and some further information from managers. But we currently have no referee, and I'm not sure when this will be restarted or what happens to him. But I'll keep you posted.
I know your game was the early kick-off of all of them, but it could end up finishing about the same time, which will actually sadly be after the show is finished. So that's another reason why I don't want Rochelle's game to go to extra time or the other Champions League game. It could happen, but you won't be able to hear us talk about it. But of course, keep up to date on the Solent Sports News website and everything, because we should have match reports on there. Apparently there's a revamping of the website coming soon, so keep up to date on there, and me as your official darts correspondent may have some more dart stories going on there. But this is the Solent Sports News Soccer Night, not the Solent Sports News Darts Night. In fact, that could be an idea. Solent Sports News Darts Night. We've got some looks around the thing. We've got some no's from Rochelle, but I think your game might be about to be kicking off, Rochelle. Has it kicked off? And if not, well, just tell me about the game. Is it about to kick off?
At the moment, they're doing their little team huddle. I'm looking into the stands, and I'm very jealous of all the spectators there with their steak and ale pies from the stadium. So if anyone's watching this, Mum, we're not watching, listening, steak and ale pie would be appreciated. But yeah, they're just having their team huddles, just, I guess, getting ready for the second half. It hasn't exactly started yet, but the teams are back on the field.
That's actually an interesting discussion that we can have now. Food at the football. I know it's a popular thing. Things like footy scran talk about it. Finn, you're looking rather glum. You're looking rather hungry. What is your scran of choice when it comes to a football game?
The last time I went to a football game and had food was the Winchester City double cheeseburger, and that was £5 and one of the best things I've ate in a long time. But I believe there is something more exciting going on in another game at the moment.
Oh no, it was just me acknowledging how good the Winchester burger is. As soon as you said, I know exactly what you're talking about. It is.
What Winchester burger did you have?
The double cheeseburger with bacon, because I asked nicely, and the woman was very nice at the at the food bit. So yes, I got my wish, and it was very good. Solid 9.5 out of 10. I'd go as far as that.
We're going to stay in non-league, but we're going to move away from footy scran, sadly, and go to footy scores, as Ben James at Aldershot has something to say to us. What's happening down there, Ben?
So it is still Aldershot 3, Ebbsfleet 1. However, Haji Minoga, Aldershot's right back, just got shown a straight red card. I'm not 100% sure what for though. We were watching the game. The ref blew up and just showed him a straight red card. I've just been told he was shown the straight red for a kick out on Ebbsfleet striker Dominic Polian. I must have missed that, as well as half the stadium, because no one seemed to understand what was going on. Anyways, at the moment, it's still Aldershot 3, Ebbsfleet 1, Aldershot down to 10 men.
Interesting down there. Violent conduct given as the official reason for that one. So not a good afternoon for Aldershot's fullback. And in fact, Andre Yidam, another fullback, has just been sent off in a different game. That's in the Reading game. But we're going to continue the chat as there's not many goals going in. Abby, I know you're probably watching your game, but footy scran, what are you going for? What would you be in the mood for right now if you were at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium watching the game?
Hot dog. Straight hot dog and probably a cider. Yeah, normally my go-to, put some ketchup, possibly burger sauce on it. But yeah, no, my go-to would probably be a hot dog. But talking football-wise, the Bolton-Oxford United game has started again, but there's been a substitute for Oxford. So Stevens has come off with his head wrapped around in a bandage. So I'm not 100% sure what's been going on there. Must have been some injury. But yeah, so Long is now on for Oxford. Not much has happened so far in the 3 minutes. But yeah, so Bolton still have to have the upper hand, and it looks like Oxford might have to climb a mountain the size of Everest in this second half, but we will see.
Thank you very much for that. And we've actually got Millie Payne on the line, who's at the Aldershot game, but I don't think she's necessarily wanting to talk about something football related as of yet. But Millie, what's happening down that game from a behind the scenes point of view?
No, we've just got some generally odd things going on here, Jamie. You know, we've got a bloke who's nearly on a hat trick. We've got I believe a fan was kicked out the stadium actually, but a steward, may I say, not the steward that's at Swindon Accrington, but a different kind of steward that's at this game. He refused to talk to us about it or give us any information. He asked if we were also meant to be here, but I told him we were, and he just kind of went along with it, even though we don't have a pass or anything. So yeah, it's been a really interesting time. I've tried some chips; they were a decent 7 out of 10, and that's all the update I have really. Decent little ground here.
It's almost like you've been listening to our non-league scran, but thank you very much for that, Millie. Finn's made a face. I don't think it was to do with Millie's chips, but was it to do with the football, or was it to do with the more important food?
It wasn't to do with Millie's chips. I can confirm it was Kvaratskhelia had a shot from outside the box that just whistled past the outside of the right-hand post, nearly equalising the game at 2-2.
Thank you very much. And talking about equalising the game, and I'll say it quietly, Yeovil 1, Chippenham 1. We've got to talk. I know it's not the coverage of the games, but I think somebody around the table may have an affinity with one of the clubs. I don't know. I'll keep it quiet, but it's Aaron Amadi Holloway, the man who scored. He actually scored in the reverse fixture later. In fact, no, it went down as an own goal. He nearly scored in the reverse fixture. So Chippenham 1, Yeovil 1 for the second time this season. We've had the Champions League games kick back off. Anything happening other than whatever it was that was happening before, Rochelle?
Just a really bad over the head kick from Porto. That was dreadful, and now he's laying on the floor because I think he may have hurt himself from trying to pull off a Ronaldo over the head kick. But apart from that, nothing as far as to report on at the moment, I'm afraid.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. We've also got Freddie Kilby at Brisbane Road. It's going to be a Freddie Kilby Energy special, I hope so. Freddie, what's happening down there?
Yes, thank you, Jamie. It's Leighton Orient 0, Port Vale 0 so far. Not any goals, but there's a brilliant save from Connor Ripley in that sort of goal. There's a float to the ball into the box. 2 Orient players standing there, literally in the 6-yard box. And a great punch from Connor Ripley denied them an opportunity to get the ball in the back of the net. So, yeah, still goalless, but both teams had some great chances in this half. Very end-to-end sort of stuff. Richie Wellens has made 3 substitutions. He's clearly not happy with what he's seen, but it's a great game down here at Brisbane Road. But still, no goals yet. It's Leighton Orient 0, Port Vale 0.
Brilliant stuff. We've also got Harrison Richards watching Southend versus Dorking at Roots Hole. Harrison, what's happening there?
Not a lot, to be honest, mate. Although Dawkins started the half the better team, a sub from Southend, Sandat has come on for Waldron. It's given them a bit more in midfield, and both teams are really struggling to just create anything clear-cut at the moment. And Southend having the best defence in the National League, they're very comfortable at the moment, but still 1-0 Southend.
And we've also got Piran Phillips joining us from Bath. Piran, what's happening in your game? Again, you're giving us the facial reactions of the century. Seems like it's an end-to-end game, but what's happening down there?
It's Bath 2, Hemel 0, and it was an absolute horror from the Hemel goalkeeper, Jonathan Macaulay. In only a second game for the club, it was a pass back from the defender to the goalkeeper, and Macaulay simply just missed the ball. And it let in Bath in on goal, and Scott Wilson fired it into pretty much an empty net. So it's now Bath 2, Hemel 0.
Thank you very much, Piran. That also sees Bath City do rise into the playoff positions, up in 7th. But I don't quite remember the last time they were in the playoffs. I think Chippenham were in the playoffs more recently than Bath City were. So I'm not sure why that's being mentioned. But there are some more goals coming in from around the grounds that I can see. We've got Billy Hunter in there coming in. Billy, what's happening in your game? Has there been a goal? What's happened? And I want some energy.
It's another goal for Wimbledon, 2-0 up against Gillingham, who are down to 10 men. It's a shot from Jake Reeves. He's absolutely smashed it. It's come off the post, keeper's dive, and Bugle's got there to double his goal tally for the day. 2-0 to Wimbledon against Gillingham. Here we go.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Billy. A lot of goals in a lot of the games we've come into. It feels like, is there a single 0-0 in the games we've been to? I don't think there is. Either way, Harrison Richards has come to us a couple of times. But any action in the games in the EFL? Abby's been rather quiet this second half. Abby, much happening?
I mean, there's been two close chances, one from left and from right for Bolton. Collins in the first 5 minutes of the second half, but just skimmed the top of the goal. Then one again for the goal scorer earlier for Ogbeta, but just to the left-hand side. I mean, they've made some chances very early on, but nothing yet. Oh, and another close goal again, just over the top. But yeah, so close, but nothing has come from it yet.
And Cal also covering the EFL. Much happening there?
No, since the second referee of the game has come on, it has been honestly absolutely nothing. Michael Carrick's been, not forced into, but he's made his first change of the game in the 65th minute with the striker Marcus Fors coming off to be replaced by Sam Greenwood to hopefully add a bit of fresh legs into the attack. It's not really a lack of trying from either side. The intensity's been there. It's quite a fierce, fast-paced game of football, but apart from that goal in the first half, we've just been lacking that final bit of quality. Still 1-0 to Middlesbrough.
A team that haven't been lacking a lot of that quality is Aldershot, as they've just scored a 4th. Ben James, tell us about it.
So it's now 4-1 at Aldershot Town. A lovely little play through the middle by Aldershot, led with Glover running down the wing. He then cut inside and slotted a beautiful little strike into the bottom corner. Amazing goal, fans going wild, and the red card really does not seem to bother them. Back to you in the studio.
Apologies for misnaming you there. Sorry, that was Callan reporting on that one. But we've also now got Cameron joining us. Portsmouth leading by 2-0. Tell us about it. How did it happen, Cameron?
Hi, Jamie. Yeah, Portsmouth have doubled their lead at Fratton Park. It's the same as the first goal scorer. Yengi has got his second of the day. An easy finish. It was great play on the right-hand side, actually. Kamara, who got the assist. Good work on the right. Flashed it across the box with a low cross. And Yengi had an easy finish to get his second of the day. 2-0 Portsmouth at Fratton Park.
2-0 Portsmouth, another side from the south coast doing well, and in fact the Hampshire side's doing quite well today. Newport, absolute goal fest, aren't they? We saw Newport score early on. It's now Newport 3, Morecambe 2. Stokes with a goal on 70 minutes, so a lot of goals flying in around the grounds, and the south coast team's doing well. If only Saints were playing tonight, we could have had a great game. But of course, in fact, we'll jump to one of you about Saints. Obviously, the fire last week. And I'm not talking about the flurry of goals against Sunderland, obviously. But the fixture pile up, 8 games they've got to play in April. I'll jump to you, Finn. How do you think it's going to play out? How do you think April will be for a Southampton point of view?
They've had a difficult run of games, haven't they, recently, losing to Hull and Millwall within the space of a few days. And they've also got a few injuries with Ryan Fraser being out. But I think it'll be close up the top. But I think they might have enough to at least get third and even push Ipswich and Leeds for that second promotion spot.
Rochelle, your opinions on Saints as well. We'll get you because obviously the Champions League games clearly aren't as fruitful as we'd want them to be. But what is your thoughts on Saints and how they can go?
I think Saints will be classic Saints. They'll win the games that people probably expected them to maybe not come out as great as, and they'll lose the games that they should easily be winning against. It will be a busy month, but at the end of the day, they are pushing for promotion back to the Premier League, and we would like to see them back up there because it would be quite good, especially for the uni, to have Premier League teams come down to Southampton next season as well.
And I'm sure it'd also be good for the social media teams to make some memes. Maybe Charlie Bender, chief of memes today, and somebody else who has, in fact, may have a match update for us. We can stop talking about memes. We'll come in with an update. Jamie Somerville at Chesterfield. What's happening, Jamie?
Chesterfield are so unlucky. It should have been 3. I mean, maybe even 4. Ollie Banks, the attacking midfielder for Chesterfield. It's still 2-0, by the way. But the attacking midfielder just had one rifle off the post, and then it falls from just 12 yards out, and it's straight at the keeper. But this crowd are excited, and they're expecting more goals tonight. But it's Chesterfield 2, Oxford City 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, as ever, Jamie. And I tell you what, the games have gone a little bit flat. I'm not too sure. Did we go to Cal? Did we talk to you about food? We'll go there. What is your scran of choice on a match day? And following that, where are you getting it from vis-a-vis service station? Because we didn't ask you about that one.
Service stations, I'll start with. Cobham is one that I went to on the way up to Kent this weekend, and I've realised I've actually been here a couple of times before, so obviously it stands out in memory. The only negative is obviously trying to get back out of there, knowing which side you're going, so we ended up going backwards on ourselves, so that was quite frustrating. In terms of match day grub, I want to steer away, instead of copying Finn's double cheeseburger at Winchester, because it's very, very underrated, and I think more fans should know about that. But it's copying Abbey as well. It is just a hot dog and a cider, but not with burger sauce. I don't know, I think that's an odd one. In terms of the game, Birmingham, I think they're sort of trying to be a bit more attacking. They've brought on a second striker now. They've brought on Lukas Zukovic to play up top with Jay Stansfield. It's a bit more direct, potentially sort of a tall target striker man, so hopefully for them he'll be able to make an impact. But there's been no chances this second half whatsoever. Still 1-0 to Middlesbrough.
Abby's got her hands in the air. Has something happened? She doesn't know what to do. Tell us more about it.
Yes, so Bolton have just scored again, but everyone's hiding. Can't see actually who scored it. Think it was Thomason. Yes, Thomason getting the congratulations from the team. Yeah, another goal. So Bolton are now 3-0 up against Oxford United. I mean, they have just put in some great goals tonight. But yeah, so Oxford really need to put a shift in now if they want to make anything. But as it stands, Bolton will be moving up into the promotion places tonight.
Not a good day for the big university sides. Both Oxford teams losing, Cambridge also losing. So I think Southampton, Solent University really on top. Southend have some action. Southend versus Dorking. Harrison Richards at Roots Hall. Tell us more about it, Harrison, with some energy.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, Harrison Mayo has kept Dorking in this game. And two good chances for Southend, as you can hear from the crowd. First came from Bridge. It was a shot from about 25 yards out, and he tipped it around the post. And then, just as I was joining the call, a shot from Crowther after a free kick that wasn't cleared. And it was a point-blank stop from the keeper. So he's definitely kept him in this game. It's been a poor display from Dorking. All 75 fans, though, that have travelled down there still making their noise. They're trying to make the most of it. But at the moment, it's still 1-0 Southend.
Brilliant stuff down in the National League, and a game we nearly got somebody out. In fact, Charlie Bender, you were so close to not hearing from him this evening because he was trying to get in at Newport. That sounded rather menacing, actually, didn't it? No, it's worse. He had to go to Newport. No, he nearly went to Newport, and he would have been treated to a great game, as it's now Newport 3, Morecambe 3. I'd have loved to see the head of memes reactions to a thrilling 3-3. Altrincham also leading York City now by 4-1. So the National League it's a blimmin' interesting league, isn't it, chaps? Worthing 2, Farnborough 3 in the National League South. Many other goals to report. Taunton 3, Torquay 0 in the Battle of the Tees down there. So not very good. But I tell you what, we might climb the pyramid. I'm actually going to go a little bit past the games we're covering today. Talk about the Premier League, everybody. If you've got a few minutes to spare away from your games, there's a game tomorrow, Bournemouth versus Luton, which is pretty pivotal in the Premier League battle for survival. Who's looking the most interesting to talk to? Rochelle's looking away, but I'll ask your opinion on the relegation battle. A little bit of explanation, but I want your 3 sides that are going down, Rochelle.
You've thrown me under the bus here. I'm going to go Luton, Sheffield United, and I don't know. Can I say 2 instead of 3? The third one stumped me.
Would Burnley be the other option that are down there? It's pretty much Burnley and Sheffield United that are unanimously considered the teams going down.
I'll go with. I don't know. It's the Prem stuff, but okay. I'll go with Burnley as the third. Sheffield United. I think when they got promoted, everyone thought they'd do a decent-ish job, but no. Other end of the spectrum for them. Luton have pulled off some shockers. They've given a good run for a few big sides. And then Burnley is just kind of the same as Sheffield United, really.
And Finn, if you can stray your eyes away from Barcelona versus Napoli, as I check my notes again, your thoughts on the relegated teams, or do you share the same views as Rochelle on this one?
Sheffield, Burnley, and sadly Luton. I think everyone would quite like to see Luton stay up, just because it's a good story and they're quite a fun team to watch, really, but I just don't think they've got enough to stay in the division. But in other more exciting news, Southampton legend Oriol Romeu is coming on for Barcelona. So I'm sure the South Coast Massive are very excited for that.
I'll tell you what, man, he's definitely not on the South Coast because he's up in Chesterfield at the minute, and he's watching a great team against a not very great team. He's here to give us an update. Jamie Somerville, your thoughts, please.
Once again, it's that great team creating chances. Ryan Colclough playing a 1-2, gets himself within the 6-yard box. Somehow on the left-hand side, slices it and ends up hitting the top right stanchion. Well, not the stanchion, the corner of the bar. It's still 2-0 Chesterfield versus Oxford City, but I'll be shocked if there's not more goals in the last 15 minutes.
And staying in the National League, we'll go across to Aldershot versus Ebbsfleet. What's happening there, gents?
To be honest with you, not much has happened. I thought I'd come and give you a quick update. It is still Aldershot 4, Ebbsfleet 1. Even though Aldershot are down to 10 men, like I previously mentioned, does not seem to be affected them. However, Ebbsfleet are on the attack right now. It's been shut down. They took off Laurent Tolaj, the Aldershot striker, who scored 2 goals so far today. So unfortunately, he's not going to be able to say the sacred words of hat-trick. Completed it, mate. Here it is still Aldershot 4, Ebbsfleet 1. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Ben James, and I absolutely love the reference from the in-betweeners there, but we will take that. More goals flying in South Wales. Newport 4, Morecambe 3 now. Topsy-turvy game. Now I wish Charlie Bender was there, because it would have been unbelievable. I know we had, I think, Nathan Potter when he was at Bristol Rovers the other week. He pretty much shouted into the microphone saying it's cleared off the line. I would have loved to see Charlie Bender's thoughts on that one, but Abby, we'll come to you vis-a-vis Premier League relegation battle. Your thoughts? You can just spitball 3 team names if you'd like, but who's going down?
I don't think you want that from me. But talking about my game, a yellow card has been handed to Brengan for kicking over, basically, Macoma. A free kick was given, came very close, but just bounced off one of the heads of the Oxford United players. Turns out that the actual goal by Thomason was actually very lucky, as it the ball hit the back of Colin and managed to go straight into the back of the net. So just that right positions from Collins managed to give them the goal. I think that was more luck than anything, but good on them. And yeah, so the only update is really that yellow card for Brangham from Oxford United.
He's been there years, hasn't he, Cameron Brannigan? He's been there for so long, and Bolton have done something. Maybe, have they? They have. Abby's got a hand in the air.
Bolton, another goal. They've just run off the screen. Can't see quite yet who's done it, but I think it was Collins. I will let you give you an actual update in a minute. It was Collins. They are celebrating again. So that's the second goal for Collins. Now 4-0 Bolton. Rochelle, you should have done the scores for this game instead of Arsenal. But yes, Bolton scored again and another one for Collins.
And we'll actually go to Rochelle after that. A little bit of a call out by Abby. You said earlier 4-0. We're gonna have to hang on to that for you forever, actually. But is it going to look like it's going to be 4-0? Because you're 25 minutes into the second half. Still Arsenal 1, Porto 0, or anything else to report?
There's nothing else to report. But all I've got to say, Abby, because of that call out, what colour's North London again after the North London derby?
Blue, and will always remain blue. Always be Coy's Tottenham Hotspurs over Arsenal any day. Thank you very much.
No. That's all I have to say is no. You are rubbish. No.
Thank you very much. That's exactly the kind of energy we need. But we're going to go to Swindon, I think, and hopefully we get some energy and passion from either Nathan Potter or Freddie Dorman. Has there been a goal, chaps? What's happened? Tell us about it and be energetic.
Oh my God. We can't believe what has just happened. We were live on video, and it's Accrington. Who was it, Freddie? Who scored? He's shot from about 25 yards out. And as we're live, he's took the effort and it's ended up in the back of it. We just can't quite believe it. As we were live, it's just what we needed. We needed something to happen here. It was end to end. We knew someone was going to find a late winner, and it's Accrington potentially with that goal. 2-1 here with 5 left to go.
Dramatic in Wiltshire. We're going to go across to London. Freddie Kilby is at Brisbane Road. Freddie, tell us more about your game between Leyton Orient and Port Vale.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. We're just creeping up to the 81st minute now, and I can't believe Leyton Orient have not scored. It's 0-0 still here. And yeah, Rolls Turi got played right in behind the defence. It was a great ball. And he only had one job left, and that was to finish the ball into the back of the net. But he hit the crossbar. I cannot believe it. It was an absolute crazy opportunity to put Orient 1-0 ahead in front of the, excited home fans here in the North Stand, just behind that goal. But yeah, I can't believe it. They should really be 1-0 up. But it's Leyton Orient 0, Port Vale 0.
Thank you very much, Freddie. And it's a crime that we've sent Freddie Kilby all the way to London, and we want to see a Freddie Kilby goal, in all honesty. But I think someone who's got something to tell us about might not necessarily be a goal. Piran Phillips down at Bath. What's happening down in the West Country, Piran? You're again very animated for us, and we love to see it. Sorry, Piran, you're on mute for us. Could you just unmute yourself, and then we'll let you hear from you.
Yes. Sorry, it's still Bath 2, Hemel 0, and a nasty tackle by number 10, Tom Smith from Bath on the Hemel player. Tom Smith, he's got the best mullet you've ever seen. It is awesome, but he's coming with a sliding tackle there to give Hemel a dangerous free kick on the outside of the box. But it's been all Bath still, and let me look at the watch, there's about 3 minutes till the 90. Hemel haven't been able to find the back of the net. All they've been able to find is a lot of yellow cards and their way into the referee's book. It's looking bleak for them, but can they make it off this free kick? It's in a dangerous position. Stay with me here. They're about to take it. This could change the game and make for a final few minutes. Referee blows his whistle. They're about to take it. Corner swung in, and it's failed to beat the first man, and that kind of sums up Hemel's game so far. It's Bath 1, Hemel 0.
Thank you very much for that, Piran. And I tell you what, the whole studio wasn't actually glued to what you were saying there. Something's happened in the Arsenal game. Rochelle, tell us about it.
So, it's kind of hard to explain. There was a bit of a kerfuffle, let's put it that way, with Porto, and it kind of cut back to Odegaard, and he just kind of from the edge of the box just kind of slipped into the goal, but it seemed to be deemed offside, which Arteta does not seem happy about, nor does the entirety of Emirates Stadium. But there we go.
So we might be going to extra time. And I tell you what, a place that might have a lot of added time is Bolton, and Abby might bolt out of her seat if I'm honest, if I don't come to Abby. What's happened at the tough sheet?
Bolton 5-0. They've done it again. So this one is from Sheehan. Straight, just into the left bottom of the corner of the goal. It flew past the Oxford United player, straight past the goalkeeper and straight into the back of net. They are 5-0 up to Oxford United. I got a pretty good chance that they will be moving up to the promotion places tonight. But yes, wow.
Thank you very much, Abby. And we're going to go across to Diogo watching Warsaw versus Barrow. What's happening also in the AFL, Diogo?
Yes, so now we're coming up to the last 10 minutes of the game. Barrow actually hit the post. I believe it was number 23. He hit the post earlier. Barrow are really putting the pressure now. It's really tight, but I think if someone were to win, I think it'd be Barrow. But you never know. Warsaw 1, Barrow 1.
And we're going to cross across to Rochelle. Something happened. Was it in relation to the goal or to the not goal? Sorry, what's happened over there?
Well, as I previously mentioned, Arteta didn't seem too happy with the offside decision of the goal. And as he was showing his upset about it, he has been awarded a yellow card, which you don't see every day, but there we go.
Apologies if I distracted Rochelle there. Chippenham 2, Yeovil 1, come on! Much happening in your Champions League game?
Nothing quite as exciting as that, unfortunately. Barcelona just had a goal disallowed. Yamal nearly, after saying that he should, if he scored tonight, be the youngest goal scorer in the Champions League knockout round, had a goal disallowed from offside.
So some drama across the Champions League there. How close are we, Rochelle? You're umming and ahhing. Is there an umming and ahhing over a potential goal?
Thank you to David Royer. Porto almost took the lead, Jamie, just to let you know. That was very, very close, very scary. Obviously good for Porto. But so no goals yet. We've had one very good save and one disallowed goal so far in the second half.
And a man we've not come to for most of the second half. Cal, you've been rather quiet, probably more due to us than you, and probably due to the boring game. But what's happened?
As you can imagine, not a lot, as you haven't come to me for a while. Funnily enough, I've been struggling to sleep recently, and I think I've found my new way is to watch more Birmingham games. It kind of explains why the stadium is pretty much empty, and I'm understanding that now. I've had nothing to give you since the last time you saw me. No shots, no bad tackles, just a lot of nothing. The only thing that I can say is Middlesbrough have defended their lead very well. They've been very compact, and you can kind of see why they've won their last 5 out of 6 fixtures and the last 4 in a row against Birmingham. Birmingham haven't really had anything for them, and as we head into the last 5 minutes, it remains Middlesbrough 1, Birmingham 0.
A dull game there, a less dull game over in Essex. Harrison Richards watching Southend versus Dorking. Tell us about a potential goal, Harrison.
Yeah, it's game over here. Southend 2, Dorking 0. It's been a really poor display from Dorking. They've been punished down the left. Hudson broke down the left and he had a shot that was saved by Mayo, who has done well to keep Dorking in the game until now, to be fair to him. But unfortunately, it fell to Cardwell and he finished off the pieces. They have played like a bunch of amateurs today, Dorking have, and it's 2-0 to Southend, rather.
A brilliant pun, brilliant energy. Harrison, I love you. We're going to go across to Cameron watching Portsmouth versus Burton. Tell us more about it. You can keep the puns in, Harrison, but I want to hear that energy.
Hi Jamie, it's 2-1 Portsmouth here at Fratton Park. Burton Albion have pulled a goal back not so long ago. It was Brayford who scored the goal, and it's actually a Burton Albion penalty as well. They've just won a penalty not long ago. The referee awarded the penalty after their forward went down in the box. Unfortunately, my stream's just gone down, so you won't be able to catch the penalty with me, but 2-1 at Fratton Park.
We'll give you updates on that when they go in. Update from the National League South. Everyone stay calm. Chippenham 3, Yeovil 1. But also in probably more pressing matters for the rest of the country, Lincoln are actually 6-0 up against Cambridge United. So lots of drama going on. 3.5 minutes left in that game. I'm sure we're reaching stoppage time in a lot of the other games. Cal, are we reaching stoppage time in yours? I know we've just come to you, but again, the London buses analogy comes. I reckon there's been a shot.
You are wrong, I'm afraid. I'd say a minute has passed since you last came to me, and it has been a very slow one. Still nothing coming. Birmingham are trying to get forward, but they just can't find a way to break through Middlesbrough's low block at the moment. And I say Middlesbrough, they're not really going for another goal. I think they're happy to settle for what they've got and park the bus, as you were saying.
We're going to go across to Finn watching the Champions League. I don't think we've actually come to you much in this second half, Finn, but what's happening between Barcelona and Napoli?
It's still 2-1, and I might have to join Callum in bed in a minute because this has also been pretty poor. In a single bed, that is, across in the opposite hotel room. If he wants to push them together, I don't mind. But yeah, Barcelona have been more on the attack than Napoli, but very little chance other than the one disallowed goal. So yeah, still 2-1 and 3-2 on aggregate.
Just confirmation of the Chippenham Town goal scorers. Matt McClaw scored the second for Chippenham to win it, and Craig Fassamade with the third. Back to the Champions League with Rochelle. Rochelle, much happening for Arsenal, and how long have we got left, crucially?
So we've got roughly just under 20 minutes. Nothing's really happening so far. Odegaard seems to be putting in a shift, same as Declan Rice. There has been a yellow card for Porto after Havertz was taken down with a knee to the back. Gabriel's just gone down and seems to be holding his ankle, but it doesn't seem too serious, so hopefully the game will pick back up in a minute.
We've got some updates from around the grounds as well. Jamie Somerville watching Chesterfield versus Oxford. Not a good day for either of the Oxford teams. Can you give us an update on what Oxford United are faring at the minute?
Well, currently it's still 2-0 Chesterfield. We're entering the crunch time. 4 minutes have been added on. The skill I've just seen from Ryan Colclough, he was brought on with 20 minutes to go. Obviously, fresh legs against a tired defence, but he looks like Cristiano Ronaldo of the non-league. We've not seen a player this good in non-league for a while, even with these Wrexham and Notts County teams. I really believe that. But yeah, with 3.5 minutes left, it's still 2-0 to Chesterfield as they're on the edge of the Oxford tee box.
I think you'll find we have had a better player in non-league since Will Grigg and Dan Ellison of Chippenham Town. But we're going to stay in the National League and we're going to go across to Ben James watching his game. Who is his game? I can't remember his game. Aldershot versus Ebbsfleet is his game. We'll go across to there. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yes, it is still Aldershot 4, Ebbsfleet 1. And I'll also put my shout in for non-league Ronaldo. Aldershot's number 10, Josh Stokes. Absolutely quality player. At the moment, not much has really gone on. Aldershot are just running the clock down. The board's just been raised to show an additional 6 minutes. But as you can expect, Aldershot are just keeping it in the corner. They've actually just got a corner. So yeah, not too much to report on. But yeah, at the moment, it's still Aldershot 4, Ebbsfleet 1.
Sticking in non-league but dropping down to the National League South, Piran's just given us a big smile on the camera. Piran, what's happening in Bath versus Hemel?
It is full time and Bath have won 2-0 over Hemel Hempstead. But just before the final whistle, we had a bit of action. I spoke about his awesome mullet, Tom Scott. He ended up getting himself red carded. It was another second tackle, sliding tackle straight through the back of the Hemel player. It was like one of my tackles on FIFA. And the referee just had no choice and had to show him a second yellow. And, well, I was thinking he was going to go for an early shower, but he's just walked back onto the pitch after full time. He's not going to have a lonely shower. He gets to go with the rest of his winning boys. It's full time here. Bath 2, Hemel 0.
Tom Smith, not enough time to go for a winning shower, an early bath, but he's got enough time to go to his coffee shop in Cheltenham. Interesting little tidbit of facts there. We've got Billy Hunter on the line as well, watching his game. Billy, what's happened or happening between Wimbledon and Gillingham?
It is still 2-0 here at the Cherry Red Records Stadium, but Josh Kelly, substitute for Wimbledon, had an amazing chance to wrap up the game. One-on-one with the keeper, it's chipped in, but he just has it here. Ardenov, Scott Malone's came and took the ball off the line. Corner to Wimbledon with only the last 2 minutes left. Still 2-0 here at Wimbledon against Gillingham.
Thank you very much, Billy. 2-0 the score there. Much happening in either of the Champions League games. Rochelle, we had about 5 minutes of madness. Has there been 5 minutes of boredom? As I kind of teed up these games to be the big games, and they've been a little bit dull.
I think you've jinxed us. I'm gonna blame you. I think you've jinxed us, jinxed both me and Finn. Yeah, Saka was just taken down. I think it's going to go for a free kick and a yellow card for Porto. But yeah, nothing's really happening. You can really tell that Arsenal are really trying to push for that second goal. I do kind of see it going into extra time, but obviously we won't be able to report on that. But fingers crossed for the win for Arsenal, I suppose.
Why are you jinxing me on that one? I wasn't the one that said it would be 4-0.
Yeah. You're the one. I don't know. I don't have any comeback for that. I've tried.
Well,
but
we've had some goals in the other Champions League game. Finn, do you want to tell us about probably the lull after the storm or the flurry of goals in the first half?
Yeah, just lots of shots from Barcelona that have either been saved fairly well by the goalkeeper Merritt or sailing wide of the post. So it's still 2-1, 3-2 on aggregate. Yamal just had another shot from the right side of the box that went high and left. Left Xavi fuming. He was not happy on the sideline. But yeah, they're still winning, so you can't be that disappointed, and still remains 2-1.
We're going to go across also to Abby Beatty. What's happening in your game? What's happened in your game? Just give us a little bit of a gist of Bolton 5, maybe 6. I can't remember what it is now, I'll be honest.
So lots of substitutes have been made. One of them has actually Collins, the double goal scorer, has come off, and Jerome came on. He had a very close goal in just a couple minutes when he stepped onto the pitch, but unfortunately just didn't manage to get it past the goalkeeper. Bennett has come on, who has actually made 6 Premier League appearances. He's come on, and Dale has come off, who had a yellow card. A few yellow cards have been coming out as well. Brown got one for Oxford United after taking out Collins. And Bolton have now made 2 more substitutes, but apart from that, not much is happening after this game now, so the score still remains 5-0 to Bolton.
Pretty much gift wrapped for the side there. We're going to jump across and jump down a division, actually. We're going to go to Nathan Potter and Freddie Dorman at Swindon versus Accrington. I believe it's full time. If not, something's happened. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's full time here, Jamie. It's Swindon Town 1, Accrington Stanley 2. It actually turned out to be a really good game in the end. Accrington have ended their 4-game winning streak and finally got a win. And it's really good for the 74 fans that turned out for them tonight. Nathan, how did you find that?
Wow, just wow. I think I finally got my breath back after witnessing that goal when we were doing video side of things. But it was a brilliant game, as you said, end to end in the second half. First half was a bit lackluster, but the second half definitely made it enjoyable and worthwhile making the trip here. And boos were ringing outside, around the stadium once the full-time whistle was blown, and it's finished here. Swindon Town 1, Accrington Stanley 2.
And the boos are probably actually just from Nathan Potter because he knows he's got to navigate the magic roundabout again on his way home. But we'll drop down from League 2 into the National League. Jamie Somerville watching top versus bottom. Believe it's full time. Tell us what happened. Tell us who scored. Tell us who was good.
Well, shockingly, Chesterfield were good. Oxford City were bad. I mean, they weren't bad. They had chances, but yeah, Chesterfield capitalised, and overall, Will Grigg and Tom Naylor, the goal scorers. I expected it. I said it on the video show as well. And you can just hear how excited these lot are. They're not aiming just for the league. They're aiming for that. 1-1-8 today, Oxford City.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Staying in the National League, we'll go over to Southend versus Dorking. Harrison Richards at Roots Hall. Tell us about Dorking. Tell us how they got on.
Yeah, not good for Dorking. It's full time here. Southend 2, Dorking 0. To be fair to Dorking, they did finally start playing when it was a little too late, though. They hit the post, a prior header from a cross, but it was all too late. I don't want to make the joke again, but I will. They did play like a bunch of amateurs, and if they want any chance of staying in the division, they're going to have to play better than that. But full time, Southend 2, Dorking 0.
Thank you very much, Harrison. We're going to stay in the National League. We're going to go over to Millie Payne, who's got... Have you been on a bit of an exploration, Millie, exploring different parts of non-league in your game between Aldershot and Ebbsfleet? We may potentially have Millie Payne if she unmutes herself potentially from the team's call. We'll keep going, we'll keep spitballing. Either way, as far as we can tell. Millie can tell us about it now.
Hello. Can you hear me, Jamie?
Yes, we can do. Tell us about your potential bus escapades. Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, so for some reason, the very kind bus driver of Ebbsfleet let me on their little, I said a little, I'm stood right next to it now. It's a gigantic double-decker coach. It had the comfiest chairs in the world. So at least the Ebbsfleet players will be able to travel back in style a little bit after that 4-1 defeat to 10 men Aldershot. But, I think I might quit the day job and become a National League player, because if I can travel like that to the games all over the country, then happy days.
Solent Sports News really are massive. We're going to go to Ben James, actually, or Callan, which one of them is going to be speaking about the game. What happened in the Aldershot Ebbsfleet game to sum up, guys?
So, yes, it's Ben speaking. To sum it up, it was, in the end, a convincing 4-1 win to Aldershot. Obviously, they conceded after 3 minutes, a bit of a shaky start, but after that, Ebbsfleet never looked like getting back into it, even after the red card. And I think, Millie, maybe you should sign for Ebbsfleet. I think you could have done a better job than some of the defenders on the pitch today. Anyways, it's full-time here. Aldershot 4, Ebbsfleet 1.
Lots of goals in that one. Someone who saw less goal was Diogo Andrada watching Walsall versus Barrow. Tell us about it, what happened, and we want some classic Diogo energy.
Yes, Jamie, I can't believe that the game has ended 1-1. Right at the end, Walsall, they started to put the pressure on and they had a clear chance, and somehow the forward missed a big chance. I was starting to hear boos as well towards the end. I think the fans were not happy with the ref at all with some of the decisions that he was making. I think Walsall are really unlucky to not be grabbing 3 points. But it's looking promising for them. Maybe this season they're going to get playoffs.
Thank you very much, Diogo, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the bit of Two Door Cinema Club behind you. I'll be honest, I was just listening to that. We've had a goal in the Champions League, though. Finn, quickly sum up, because we've got scores from around the grounds as well.
Yeah, it's 3-1 Barcelona now. They have pretty much sealed their place in the next round. The ball was played through the middle to Sergi Roberto, who then cut into the box and crossed it back across to Lewandowski in the middle, who had an easy tap in to make it 3-1 on the night and 4-2 on aggregate.
And we've got a full time coming in as well from Leyton Orient versus Port Vale. Freddie, bundle of energy, Kilby. What do you got to tell us?
Yes, thank you, Jamie. It's been a very dramatic match here. It's a very end to end, the whole sort of second half especially. But it has finished Leyton Orient 0, Port Vale 0. And I've got to leave you with another Robbie Williams pun for you. So I guess Port Vale must have had their guardian angels looking out for them, and must have offered them a lot of love and protection, I've messed it up. But you get what I mean from the joke. But yeah, it's been a very great match. A lot of sort of action, a lot of missed opportunities, especially those two sitters from Russell Tiriu and James Wilson. So yeah, both teams will be very gutted that it came away with a 0-0 draw here. But I suppose Port Vale will be the happier of the two teams. With a point they're going to take back to Stoke-on-Trent. So, yeah, I think it'd be Orient to be most disappointed with this result. But, yeah, great point for Port Vale.
Freddie, we appreciate you trying for the jokes. This is exactly what we want to hear. Thank you very much, Freddie Kilby. Staying in the AFL, we're going to go to Billy Hunter. He was watching Wimbledon versus Gillingham. Give us a bit of summary. What happened there, Billy?
Hello, Jamie. Yeah, it's finished 2-0 here at Wimbledon. The Dons have done it. Gillingham put a brave effort up against with 10 men, but the Dons were just way too good for them today. Moved up to 7th in the league and in a playoff place, while Gillingham has fallen down to 10th. So the 1,000 fans that Gillingham brought will be going home crying in their beers tonight. But a great win for Wimbledon up into the 2-0 against Gillingham.
Thank you very much. And also rising up into League One, we've got Cam Moody, who was watching Portsmouth versus Burton, full time there. What are your thoughts on that? How did that play out for the South Coast team and for the team from Staffordshire?
Yeah, hi Jamie. It's finished 2-1 at Fratton Park. Good result for Portsmouth overall. Maybe not as convincing as most people would have thought it would have been heading into kickoff. Burton definitely made it a tricky last 10 minutes with Brayford getting on the scoring. But overall, good night work at the office for Portsmouth, and as they look to continue their promotion push.
They may be playing as the same league as Saints next season, which would be great. Can we get that scheduled on a Solent Soccer night, actually? That would be absolutely feisty. A game that wasn't that feisty. Cal, tell us about your rather dull game that you were almost forced to watch this evening.
Yeah, I felt sorry for the Birmingham fans, just as you thought it couldn't get any worse. The assistant referee put up 8 minutes of added time for them to endure even more of it. I just checked the actual official stats after. They didn't even register a shot on target. A pretty dull night for Birmingham, and the fans can sort of see why they are where they are in the table at the moment, how they get away from that, judging on this performance in the last defeat. I don't know where goals are going to come from, but Middlesbrough, they've climbed 2 places up in the table now. They're 5 points off the playoffs. So a good result for Michael Carrick and his side, finishing 1-0.
But I have to apologise for putting you through 8 minutes of stoppage time. We may be into stoppage time of the Arsenal Champions League game. Rochelle, you were whispering earlier about some potential chances. I'm trying to peek over and see, but what's happening? I'll tell you what, I'm going to just stand up for the rest of this.
Yeah, there was, for a couple minutes or so, there was chance after chance for Arsenal. It was either being saved by Costa or it was missing by bare centimetres. And they're now on the break. No, they were on the break. Correction. As Saka was taken down. It does look to be going into extra time, as scary and as nerve-wracking as that is.
We do apologise, we won't be able to bring you that extra time, but Finn, it doesn't look like your game in the Champions League is going to be going to extra time. Just tell us a little bit about it as we're approaching the final, about 5 or 6 minutes or so of the show.
It's still 3-1 Barcelona, and they're having all the possession and all the chances. Napoli are trying to hit on the counter-attack, but for very little effect. There's always a Barcelona defender there waiting for them. They're on the attack at the moment, running down the left and crossing it in. It's not. No, it wasn't him. Thankfully, it wasn't, because I'm not going to have to say his name. I didn't quite see who it was. It's just hit the bar from a shot from the edge of the edge of the box. But yeah, still 3-1. I don't see any way that Napoli get back into this.
Flurry of activity there, and we've had a flurry of activity in the game at the Tough Sheet up in Bolton, Abby, but it's been a rather quiet thing. A few moments, and just approaching stoppage time now. 5-0. I don't know why I'm doing your job for you. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so they've got 6 minutes of extra time. So, it's so close, and nearly a close goal for Bolton. That's another 3 chances that they've had in the second half. But yeah, just like the Birmingham fans, Oxford United have to be put through another 6 minutes of watch time for this game. But yeah, nothing else has pretty much happened, but Bolton have had a good few chances, and it looks like Bolton is going to take this win. And depending on how the Derby do in their game tonight, they could be moving up to their automatic promotion places.
One looking very good indeed, and Derby have actually won by 2-1. They beat 10-man Reading, so swings and roundabouts. And in fact, I'm just thinking about wanting to watch Stewart on that. Nathan Potter on the roundabout there. If you I need to explain. If you have not seen the video, please look on Solent Sports. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Does everyone agree that it's just amazing? Yeah, you're all shaking your heads. I promise. But also special shout out to the socials team watching today. Charlie, who you heard from, John, who you briefly heard from, Chloe, who you briefly heard from. Charlie's put so many messages in the chat, and I think a lot of them are Robbie Williams puns. He said, I want Freddie back for good. He could rule the world if he wanted to. He really shines. Honestly, he's made it the greatest day of our lives. It's like he's made of candy. Charlie really should be in the studio next time as Chief Meme Officer, just feeding this to us, because I feel your talent was wasted. Well, it wasn't wasted. You've all done a smashing job if you are listening. Thank you very much to those of you listening, as I'm just trying to fill time, because it doesn't look like the 2 Champions League correspondents, or even 3 Champions League correspondents, or even 4. I think Cal's watching it. I don't think anybody's watching any of the other games at the minute, but Rochelle's glued to the screen. But if we take the assumption that Arsenal versus Porto are going into extra time, what do you think is going to happen, Rochelle? Will Arsenal be able to nick it? Heck, will they even be able to score 3 to make your 4-0 prediction come true?
I mean, with the way they're taking chance after chance at the moment, I do think they could score another. There's 3 minutes added on to the full 90. Yeah, I don't think they can score the 3 to make my prediction correct. I'm really bad at predictions anyway. But yeah, I do think the way they're taking their chances, if they take them right and they play their cards right through the midfield, then I could see them nabbing this one in the bag.
And Finn, your thoughts? I know you've probably been straying over your eyes to watch Arsenal every so often when there's not been a goal or anything in your game, but how do you think Arsenal can do as obviously the English side playing this evening?
You'd think they'd probably have the firepower off the bench and in attack already to scrape a win during extra time or even penalties. So yeah, I don't see Porto winning the game.
Thank you, Brad. Sorry, I'll tell you what, standing up was probably a stupid idea. I'm going to sit myself back down, but I'll just run through some full-time scores from around the grounds while we wait for the Champions League games to finish. Middlesbrough beat Birmingham by 1-0. Barnsley beat Carlisle by 3-2. Derby 2, Reading 1. Fleetwood 0, Bristol Rovers 0. Nathan Potter will be very upset that we didn't mention Bristol Rovers that much, but as we just tick over into not long left to go, about 2 minutes left to go, maybe Rochelle giving us a nod, but nothing really happening. Port Vale 0, Leyton Orient 0, or the other way around, as Leyton Orient were at home. Freddie Kilby, the man there, who made some really, really good Robbie Williams puns. But I tell you what, I think that may be it done for this evening. Perhaps. I'm not sure I'm getting some eyes. I don't think there really is going to be much action left to go. But thank you very much for tuning in. I will keep fluffing you with scores. Blackpool 1, Northampton 0, Portsmouth 2, Burton 1, 10-man Shrewsbury 0, Exeter 3. As pretty much everybody in the studio right now is glued on to Rochelle. Rochelle, what's happening in the Arsenal game? How long's left? The eyes have widened. Has there been a gunner's chance?
They had a chance, but it fell to nothing. It's not really going in Arsenal's favour, but if they keep taking their chances, hopefully they'll pull one through.
Just talk us through the final couple of minutes or so left to be got. We've probably got about a minute or two left until we're locked in the building. But how long have we got left to go? I mean, to be fair, being locked in the studio and being forced to watch Arsenal for 30 minutes wouldn't be a bad thing. But just talk us through how long we've got left.
Well, the full extra 3 minutes has been done, but there's a couple of people just lying on the ground, I think, trying to waste time, but I don't think they realise that now it's just going to be added back on the end. It's now 3 minutes 30. Not a lot is going on. Everyone's doing that thing where they talk under their hands, acting like they're all mysterious. But again, we all know they're just trying to talk tactics. I can't really see what's going on at the moment because they're not really doing a full thing of the pitch. They're just zooming into players' faces, which isn't really helping us, but it is very likely. Well, no, correction, it is going to go into extra time.
Well, thank you very much for those updates. And absolutely, the Arsenal players were definitely just gossiping about the fact that Chippenham Town have beaten Yeovil by 3-1, by the way. And I'll give you just a clarification because I did my research on this. 10 years ago, Yeovil were in the Championship. Chippenham were in Step 4 of non-league. They lost 7-0 to Stourbridge Athletic the same week that Yeovil travelled to Leeds United. And Chippenham have won today. So we're going to do that. And we've got about 10 seconds left to go. Finn, just tell us, spitball to us for the final Champions League game, the final match day update of Solent Sports News Soccer Night.
Unfortunately, with 2 minutes left to go, Kvaratskhelia was taken off the pitch, so it left me the full 92 minutes to say his name. But he had a good chance from the edge of the box that fired just wide of the post, and I can confirm it has just gone to full time. So Barcelona have won 4-2 on aggregate and 2-1 on the night.
And then Rochelle, just please, one final word. Are we about to go into extra time? I just want the confirmation for our lovely listeners out there.
Yeah, 100%. There's a Porto player, I'm not quite sure who, who's gone down with cramp, and it looks like he's going to be stretchered off. So, yeah, it's 100% going to go into extra time. But, yeah, I hope that Arsenal will... Well, obviously, I can't be too biased on here, but, I hope one team pulls through and we're not there to have to sit and watch penalties because that is one thing that I cannot stand.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in to Solent Sports News Soccer Night Radio today. Thank you very much for listening. I've been your host, Jamie Olszynski. We've had so many scores from around the ground. We've had Robbie Williams jokes. We've had Chippenham Town winning. We've had everything and goals. Thank you very much and tune in to us soon.